WEHC are brought to you by Food City, First Bank and Trust. I'm pretty excited.
.7 WEHC, the voice of Southwest Virginia. And for the third straight Saturday, we're proud to join you once again above the Lou Wacker Grandstand and overlooking Fred Self Athletic Stadium's nice Wander Field for today's contest between the visiting Bridgewater College Eagles and the host Wasps. Once again, I'm Josh Floyd, bringing you the play-by-play commentary today for today's start to the quote-unquote traditional Old Dominion Athletic Conference slate. Back to my right, none other than Keys to the Game host and pre-Halloween candy inspector. Of course, we're referring to none other than Gary Lestrom. Gary, last week, that's more like it, right? After a disappointing loss to Bluefield, the Wasps excelled, shined, dominated. Put your adjective here, Mad Libs, whatever you want to do, in all phases last Saturday. They erupted for a 63-7 shellacking of a visiting apprentice school squad 1 week removed from a road win against Brevard. But today marks the beginning of the final ODAC lap for the Wasps, who, of course, will move on to the South Atlantic Conference next year. And what better way to open that stretch with a battle between the ODAC team of the 90s in Emory and the ODAC team of the 2000s in Bridgewater here on a beautiful afternoon here in Southwest Virginia.
Well, thank you, Josh. It's great to be with you again, and I'm excited about this football game because it's an old rivalry that I think we're going to enjoy watching today as it unfolds. But you talked about last week, boy, that was some good news. The Wasps played their most complete game of the season. They put together a defense that pitched a shutout. Their special teams then were near perfect, almost a perfect game, and then the offense reeled off 9 straight touchdowns to put 63 points on the board. But Josh, more importantly, the Wasps had 540 yards of offense, and almost 400 of that was on the ground. That 394 yards rushing, which was, outstanding. Then on the other side of the ball, the defense, they pitched, like I said, a shutout. They only allowed 184 yards and no touchdowns. The one touchdown that was scored was by an interception early in the game that went back for a touchdown. And the special teams, they harassed the punter for Apprentice. At one point he had 3 punts that were 5, 7, and 3 yards. So it was a really good news day for the Wasps.
Yeah, it was. And Gary, when you talk about the good news, whenever there's good news, there's always bad news. Is there not?
Yeah, and the bad news about this is that they're going to have another complete game today because they are playing or facing the most complete team that they've faced all year. This team is well coached. They are talented. Last week they lost to Randolph-Macon, who's a preseason ODAC favorite, 31-13, but there were some big turnovers in that game that kind of turned it around. Macon was able to shut down the running game and force Bridgewater into a passing game, and that's when they started harassing the quarterback. They sacked him 4 times. They intercepted him twice, and he was always being pressured. And Macon, that's what they do. When they get you one-dimensional, they will really squeeze you down to where you can't really run your offense. So.
No, you really can. And, one of the things that you have coming in this game, Gary, is, the Wasps are very big on this ground attack. This is certainly the best defense that they face. Well, what makes this game most challenging for the rushing attack?
Well, this defense that Bridgewater's running, they're one of the first ones in the ODAC to experiment with this 3-3 stack, and they're going to be running that. You'll see a 3-3 stack. You'll see a 4-3. They'll switch it up. You'll have an odd front, and then you'll have an even front. I look for them to try and keep an extra down lineman in the game today because of the rushing attack, because that's just, you need more beef up there. And boy, that's what I think the Wasps are going to need to do, is unleash the hounds today and let Devontae Jordan and Michael English do what they did last week. Jordan last week rushed for 246 yards and is now 4th in the nation in yards rushing, while he's with 7 touchdowns, and he's 6th in the nation in total yards with 472. And he's replacing Grayson Overstreet, but he rushed for 214 last week. They took him out, and Stephen Montgomery took his place, and he chips in 101 yards on 9 carries. And then, as if that's not enough, Michael English comes in and he's 50 yards on 10 carries. So they really ran the ball well. The offensive line blocked well, and they've got to keep this ground game going.
Well, you've got the stack in front of you. Okay, you know the stack is coming. What do you do to stop this? Obviously, zone blocking's not going to work, but what do you do to counter that?
Yeah, the zone, the Wasps have lived and died with zone blocking, but today on this stack, and they did it some, you saw some of it last week, they are going to change some of the blocking assignments. It's going to be a little bit more aggressive blocking with, you're going to see more counter tray schemes. You're going to see the blocking back come in and take a wham block on that defensive end and try to isolate, the linebacker in the hole. So you're going to see a more aggressive blocking patterns by the Wasps today, but also one of the things the triple stack defense does is they alternate which gap the linebacker and the down lineman has. So you never really know who's got what gap. And so it confuses the offensive line because there's so much movement. And part of the plan today is it does look soft on the edge, and by golly, it can be soft because if you can pin the linebackers and the tackles inside, you can get around this defense. And that's what Randolph-Macon did last week. They were able to seal the inside, bring a blocking back front of that running back, and then go sweep around it. And given the speed of our running backs, I think you're going to see that with also we get outstanding blocking on the edge by our wide receivers, Cozy and Gunnar Griffith.
Yeah, and that's going to be big today, definitely in this this scheme. And certainly one of the things that Bridgewater is going to have to do, they've done their homework. They looked at this RPO that the Wasps have done, but one of the things that they're going to have to do is, especially last week, you just can't key on Jordan. You can't key on one guy, and they're going to have to, look at all of those, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the RPO is the most effective when you have a ground game like Jordan, what he did last week, and Montgomery and English. And so this RPO play action should be really effective today because Bridgewater knows if they're going to stop the Wasps, they've got to stop this ground game, and they've got to honor those play fakes that are always a part of that RPO offense and the option when they're trying to read that linebacker and see what he's going to do. So I look for it to be, a real battle on defense on both sides of the ball. I think that's the strength of both teams. This is the 47th meeting of these two schools. Josh, they first started playing in 1927. The Wasps lead that series 30-15 and with one tie, but we have lost 3 in a row. Newsom beat them 3 straight when he first came. We've now lost 3 in a row. So, all that was with when Mike Clark was there, the legendary Mike Clark, who was a tremendous coach at Bridgewater. And now we've got the post-Mike Clark era, and I'm not sure if there's going to be much of a change.
No, what an honor it is for Coach Scott Lim to be chosen by Mike Clark. All Clark did, if you weren't paying attention, he coached 26 seasons for Bridgewater. He changed the program's trajectory. They were happy just to get wins, and he was not satisfied with that. In his time at Bridgewater, they won 6 ODAC titles. They went to the national championship game 20 years ago. Just really set the program at a different level in his time there. And Coach Lim came in, and this is his first year at coach, of course, but he was the offensive coordinator before Clark's retirement this past spring. He's been with Bridgewater for 12 years, 2 at coordinator, and really has, continued that traditional element of Bridgewater football. If you talk to an alum for Emory Henry, if you talk to a young alum, they're going to know about the Bridgewater history. If you talk to an alum that's got some more years on it, they can tell you when Bridgewater was terrible.
Yeah,
you can tell them, as far as the wins and what you were to expect. And I asked him about his influence with Coach Clark. He said they talk twice a week, and said Coach Clark lives in Bridgewater. He's a walk-to-work guy. Lives about a quarter of a mile away from the office. He was a big mentor to me, both players and coaches, and he saw that in his coaches. He said he was very lucky to have him under his wing. He said, I was an immature 25-year-old, and he'd had some tough conversations with me, helped me change, and I had a lot of special times with him. And he says, I miss the relationship side more than anything else. So you certainly can see that in the words that, or you certainly can hear that in the words that Coach Lim says about Coach Clark, and why not? And that tradition has continued. The first 2 games of the year, the Eagles defensively very strong. They're only allowing 18 points a contest. Last week ran into a little bit of a buzzsaw down in Ashland, as with most ODAC ODAC teams do. They got down 24-7 against Randolph-Macon, and they never recovered in that game, and Macon just kind of wore them down. But just they weren't able to rush the football last week, and we're going to talk a little bit about what they're looking to do there. Macon scored 10 points off of interceptions. So, well, the Eagles, this is a big game. It's non-conference for them, of course, as it always is for ODAC now. But they're looking to get back in the swing of things. They feel like they are, they certainly deserve to be in that ODAC picture, overall. And certainly they're going to look to their senior quarterback today with Matt Lawton, who's replacing Jay Scroggins. Matt's been in a competition, as according to Coach Lim, with several quarterbacks. He's a senior this year. He said he got tackled quite a bit last Saturday.
Yeah,
Certainly that's part of it. But one of the things that he says with Matt Lawton, he knows where all 11 guys are supposed to be. He has a good understanding of our offense. And so he's going to be a big part of that offensive component today when it talks with this. When it talks to this contest and this game plan of they're needing to rush the football. They're rushing for 45 yards a game. That's not Bridgewater football. Yeah, they cannot rush for 45 yards and expect to win ball games. Last week they had 21. So, Gary, when you talk about this team, from a defensive standpoint, we're looking at it from a scheming. They're sort of like Hampton-Sydney, but they've got the rushing attack. What does that mean?
Well, this is. Let me first step back and. Actually, what that means, Josh, is they have so much pre-snap movement. They are all over the place, and they screw up your defensive sets that you call because they're moving. You may think they're in trips to one side and a single receiver on, but it may change completely before the ball's snapped. And so you have a lot of pre-snap movement. And Coach Buzzo, this is his third bite at the apple with Bridgewater. First time he faced them was up there and we took a 53-13 shellacking. We never stopped them all day. And then the next time we played them in 2019, they came in here playoff bound and won 35-3. And Coach Buzzo was not able to stop them that day either, and we were not able to run either time against this Bridgewater defense. Today, though, I think what you're going to see, Bridgewater is really going to concentrate on getting Gilleps, their primary back, and boy, is he a hard runner. They're going to try to get him started early so they can open up the passing game to Lawton. They can't afford to let Emory do what Macon did to them last week by shutting down the run and putting all the everything on the shoulders of Lawton. But I think you're going to see Buzzo use a little bit of his own version of the 3 triple stack with 3 down linemen, put in perhaps a quick linebacker or an extra defensive back. And one of the things that Macon did last week that really hurt them is they handled almost all of the motion and the movement and the shifting with their defensive backs, and they were able to let the linebackers stay in the box and thereby shutting them down. They were, not able to run much at all, although Gillette certainly had some. I'm just really impressed watching him on film, how hard he runs and how difficult he is to take down. Yeah, he is. And the other concern that you have coming in, when you're facing this team of Bridgewater is they're going to test you. They're going to test you in all the avenues on the field, especially deep. And one of the things that the Wasps have done is they've done really well with press coverage, mixing in a little bit of zone. But what do you think the Eagles, they do that shifting. That shifting tells them a lot about what type of coverage is going to be out there, right? That's exactly what it does. It tells them what they're doing. Emory has kind of, gone wholeheartedly into this press coverage with their corners, and that thereby allowing the safeties to either cover, a man up on one side and zone on the other. And I think you're going to see Emory in a press coverage today, but I look for the Eagles to motion that guy. You can't press cover somebody that's in motion, Josh, and I think they'll try to do that. And the chess match is going to be, are we going to be able to stay in cover 2 and man underneath with 2 deep safeties, or we're going to have to move to cover 3 with 3 deep and so forth. The other thing that Buzzo's team's got to do, and Macon did this last week, and of course when you get somebody in a one-dimensional type of offense, and that all they're going to do is throw because they can't run, but they need to keep the pressure on this Lawton. He threw 2 interceptions last week, was sacked, as I said, 4 times, and I think that's going to be a key that we keep the pressure on him. Don't give him time for those receivers to run those long crossing routes because they truly, truly love them. But then you were talking about Coach Lim. There is a history there between him and Newsom. I think their paths have crossed, possibly as a player and a coach, but I'd like to hear a little bit about that history, but also every year they seem to have a linebacking core that's second to none.
Yeah, let's talk about the linebackers first, and we'll come back to that relationship. We talk about how the linebackers have been so key to this Bridgewater defense. Defensive Player of the Year was 𝙨𝙤𝙖𝙧. He's 2019. He was just an amazing player for them, and now they've got nice 1-2 tandem of the senior Brett Tharp, and then he was first team all this past spring, and then the sophomore Nazir Jordan has really come out and has really just kind of jumped out. He definitely jumps out on film when you're looking at him. 10 tackles and a sack last week against Macon. He's active. He has 28 tackles so far and a couple of sacks. Tharp, as we mentioned, first team all ODAC. He had 9 tackles last week and is right up there as well. And I asked Coach Lim about that, and he said the strength of our defense is, first of all, when you talk about the linebackers, they're getting the stats, of course. But Len says it's largely because of what our defensive front is doing.
Yeah.
If our defensive front is doing its job, they got 4 seniors and a junior up there, then guess what? The linebackers get to run up, and they're being able to make the tackles. And that's what you want.
Yeah.
That's what you want. Absolutely. As a defensive coordinator. And on the air, he said, we're facing the same thing. He had a lot of respect for Brett Butler, Ivan Phillips. He said they're doing the same thing. He goes, we feel like we're looking at the same thing from the other side. He goes, that line is great. Really spoke very highly of Donovan Penix. He said, gosh, he plays hard, and he said, he's not the biggest, but my word, he says, I have so much respect for Penix. And he also said Phillips is one of the best, if not the best linebackers we'll compete against.
Yeah.
And so he definitely knows Emory and Henry in that regard going into this one, and certainly the Wasps are going to have their work cut out as far as trying to defend those guys as well. But, the interesting connection between these two is that Kurt Newsom actually recruited Scott Lim to James Madison.
Yeah.
Fine institution, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
And Coach Newsom, when he was there in the early part of the 2000s, he recruited Coach Lim to JMU and said he was my direct connection. He said he was intense. Coach Newsom is intense, yes, definitely. But he said he was very much a relationship builder. He knew he cared about you. And he said it's exciting to see him return to Emory and competing against someone who meant so much to me. And he said he was able to work things out. And I like this quote that he said at the end. He said, Coach Newsom resurrected a lost teenager's life. So, wow. I mean, that's very powerful words, and certainly shows, the impact that Coach Newsom had. And certainly, he's projected that from his playing days at Madison, down the road to Bridgewater, and done quite well with it. So certainly, you see that, we talk about Coach Newsom. He has so many connections and so many stories just like that going forward. But speaking of Coach Newsom, certainly he's got to be pleased, with what happened last week. Nice win, very complete win, Gary. You've talked about it, very complete win. But what is he going to talk about this week?
Well, first, let me go back one step back. Coach Lim, I tell you what, he's a very fortunate person to be able to talk about having the relationship and having people in his life like Kurt Newsom and then Mike Clark. Not a lot of people can say that, and I think he understands how fortunate he is and trying to make a statement for himself and do what he can at Bridgewater. Well, Newsom is a little bit edgy, if you want to call it that. He told me this week, he said, whoever establishes the ground game today is going to win this game. That's what it's going to come down to. We're not one-dimensional, and neither is Bridgewater, and somebody has got to be able to run the football, and the team that does is going to be the team that wins. He's very concerned about the fact they've not played well against them the last 2 years. They've been pretty much shellacked 53-13 and 35-3. The defense has got to show up and do something more than they've done. The other thing he's concerned about, Josh, is a big letdown. After a complete game and that big of a win, a lot of times you don't keep your concentration up, and he's tried to guard against that this week because this is the best team they've played all year. They don't have Rashawn Myers, number 52, thank goodness, but boy, they've got those, you mentioned these two linebackers, Nazir Jordan, number 44, and number 41, Brett Tharp. They're concerned about them being able to shut down the run. And then finally, just the last thing is there's so much eye candy with Bridgewater. They're just like Hampton Sydney. They're all over the place in pre-snap movements, shifting, so forth. And the defense can't get confused by that. Otherwise, it could be lights out for the Eagles today. So that's some of the things and concerns he's mentioned, but I'm sure there are others too.
Absolutely, and we'll definitely see that here as we're just about 11 minutes away from kickoff. Well, while we have a minute, we'll go into starting lineups. First of all, for the visiting Bridgewater College Eagles, 2-1 on the season, led by head coach Scott Lim. They'll start with the quarterback, the senior redshirt quarterback, redshirt senior Matt Lawton. He was 23 of 36 last week against Randolph-Macon, 64% completion rate so far. That leads the ODAC. He leads the ODAC in passing yards and in touchdowns, the senior out of Chester, Virginia. The running back is the redshirt senior number 21, Demetrius Gillespie. And Gillespie was on the first team All-ODAC in spring, but just 22 yards last week. You certainly know the Eagles will have to get him going. He's the redshirt senior out of Martinsburg, West Virginia. The redshirt senior, number 19, the wideout will be Chad Jones, 6'4", 188, out of Haymarket, Virginia, and actually leads second in the ODAC for 220 yards overall on the season. Another wideout, the junior number 82, Derek Jenkins, 5'8", 156, out of San Antonio, Texas. And the other junior wideout, number 13, Vontae Tucker, who was a rookie of the year when he started back several years ago in the ODAC. He's junior, 5'10", 178, out of Roanoke, Virginia. The tight end, they use this very heavily in the Bridgewater offense. The junior, number 25, Stephen Klusterman, 6'1", 200, out of Strasburg. Left tackle will be number 63, Gloria Seca, the true freshman, 6'4", 250, out of Annandale. The left guard is number 79, the redshirt senior, Cole Cooksey, 6'3", 285, out of Herndon, Virginia. The center is number 62, Burke Snow, the sophomore, 6', 255, out of Chester. The right guard is number 69, the sophomore, Tyler Beckstein, 6'1", 275, out of Stevenson. And the right tackle will be the junior, number 70, Preston Hayden, 6'4", 282, out of Hopewell. On the defensive side, on the defensive ends, it'll be a senior tandem, very senior-laden defensive group. Number 12, senior Jaden Johnson, 6'1", 238, out of Winchester. And the other will be number 8, Deshaun Davis, the redshirt senior, 6'1", 235, out of Stafford. The fifth-year player will be number 53, Malik Crow, 5'10", 315, out of Sterling. The other defensive tackle is the junior, number 97, Preston Turner, 6'2", 280, out of Blairs. We talked about this talented linebacker group, and we'll do so again today. Number 44, the sophomore, Nazir Jordan, 6', 230, out of Richmond. The other offensive outside linebacker will be number 41, the senior, Brett Tharp, 6'2", 210, out of Baker, West Virginia. And the fifth-year senior will be number 2, Dustin Green, 6'1", 225, out of Fairfax. The cornerbacks, redshirt sophomore, number 22, Aaron Moore, 5'7", 170, out of Roanoke. And number 26, redshirt senior quarterback, Chase Rosenthal, 6'1", 194, out of Chesapeake. The safeties will be a junior, number 3, Connor Gordon, 5'11", 190, out of Ruston. And the other will be a sophomore, number 28, Val West, 5'10", 187, out of Richmond. Handling the place kicking will be the freshman, number 24, Jackson Hendren, 5'10", 152, out of Winchester. Junior, number 29, Garrett Graves, will be doing the punting, 5'11", 230, out of Chester. And the kick returns will be Tucker, as we mentioned earlier, as well as number 6, Ronald Robinson Jr., a junior, 5'6", 171, out of Stafford. And that's the Eagles starting lineup for the Emory Henry starting lineup with some changes. Here's Gary.
All right, thank you, Josh, and please take a breath. I've been enjoying watching the Emory Henry College band and the cheerleader. What a show they put on. Well, let's start with the offense, and we'll start with that big offensive line that Coach Newsom was so proud of last week and helping to get almost 400 yards of rushing. At left tackle, number 63, Sean Watkins. He's a junior out of Bristol, Virginia. At the right tackle, number 79, Ricky Dobson. He's a junior, 6'7", 315, out of Front Royal, Virginia. The left guard, number 72, Parker Coe, is a senior. He's 6'3", 270 pounds, out of Wytheville. And the right guard is number 57, O.P. Peterson. He's also a senior, 6'1", 310, out of Forest, Virginia. And the center, number 56, Preston Robinson. He's a senior, 6'2", 310, out of Mocksville, North Carolina. At the tight end, number 48, Zach Venhorst will be the starter. He's a junior out of Lynchburg. He's 6'1", 240 pounds. At the wide receiver, number 16, Gunnar Griffith is a fifth-year senior. He's 5'11", 175 pounds, out of Bluff City, Tennessee. And then the other wide receiver, number 2, Kashawn Cozy, a senior, 5'4", 135, out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. And at the other wide receiver, well, Elijah Rice is on the injured reserve list this week, so we're going to see probably several, but number 19, Mark Damian Cooper, a freshman out of Murfreesboro, Tennessee, is scheduled to start. And running backs, well, Devontae Jordan, we've already talked about him, Josh. He's fourth in the nation on touchdowns with 7, and he's sixth with 472 yards of rushing. He's number 23, and he's a senior out of Bassett. He's 5'9", 190 pounds, and there's a lot going to be riding on his shoulders today. And the quarterback, number 7, Kyle Short, a sophomore, 5'11", 185 pounds, out of Lebanon, Ohio. So that's the offense. And then let's move over to the defense. We'll look at those defensive ends. Number 9, Jay Swagmeyer. He's a junior, 6'4", 250 pounds, out of Orlando, Florida. The other one is number 97, DeAndre Chambliss, a fifth-year senior, 6 foot, 230 pounds, out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. And then the defensive tackles, number 93, Rashid Ellis, a junior, 6'1", 270, out of Tappahannock, Virginia. And then number 99, which Coach Lim mentioned, Donovan Penix, a senior, 5'10", 270 pounds, out of Eden, North Carolina. The linebackers, we've mentioned them already. Number 20, Brett Butler, and 27, Ivan Phillips, two of the best in the league right now. The cornerbacks, number 1, Jalen Crimes, a senior, 5'10", 165 pounds, out of Sharp, Virginia. And the other one is number 3, Dalton Wilson, a senior, 5'11", 165 pounds, out of Clinton, Tennessee. At the weak safety is number 8, Zyquise Law, a senior, 6'2", 190 pounds. And the strong safeties, number 11, T.J. Payne. He's a junior, 6 foot, 190 pounds, out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. And finally, number 35, Addison Nicely, had a big interception last week, a sophomore, 6'1", 170 pounds, Mount Crawford, Virginia is where he's from. The kicking, number 34, Cameron Jones, did a great job last week. He's a junior out of Jacksonville, North Carolina. The punter, number 49, Garrett Morgan, is a senior out of Mechanicsville, Virginia. The holder this week will be number 7, Kyle Short, our quarterback. And the long snapper will be number 42, Seth Stanley, the junior, out of Lebanon, Virginia. Kick returns will be for sure Devontae Jordan, but at this point in time, we're not sure who's going to take the place of Elijah Rice, who's out, as we mentioned. He is normally the kicker, and he's also the punt returner, but today we'll see somebody new, and we'll let you know as soon as we know who that's going to be. That's the WASP, Josh.
We'll send it back to WEHC Studios for this 1-minute break. You're listening to Emory Henry College Football on 90.7 WEHC, the voice of Southwest Virginia. Back in 1 minute. As always, thank you, Bill McKee, back here at Red South Athletic Stadium's Nice Wonder Field here for today's contest. No longer an ODAC contest for these teams, but certainly, Gary, these teams know each other very, very well in this series. One that's been dominated by Emory Henry. If you look back on it, they've been playing quite a while. But, of course, Bridgewater has dominated the last, has won many of these games the last 10, 15 years, too.
Yeah, they have. They sure have, and they've won 3 in a row. So, it's not a conference game, but it's a yardstick game, as I would call it, because it is a good measuring stick. It's just to how good you are and where you've got to show some improvement, because we're playing, like I said, probably the best team we've played this year.
And Gary, we'll come back, I think, with the Emory Henry Wasp taking the field, Bridgewater coming in behind us from the King Center. We'll come back to some of those games that we want to focus on throughout the day. But more importantly, Gary, what's Emory got to do to go to 3-1 today?
Well, it's like Newsom said, whoever can run the ball is probably going to win this game. So they have got to get Devontae Jordan and Stephen Montgomery and Michael English involved in the football game early and open up that run. They got to find some success on the edge. That's exactly where I think they can run, by sealing off the inside and going or sweeping this bunch. Yeah, I think, Josh, because these linebackers are so good, I think the quarterback has to run the ball some today. He has to be featured as part of this running game. That's what offensively they need to do. And defensively, well, it's pretty simple. Make them one-dimensional. Do what Macon did, take away the running game and make Lawton beat you with his arm. Don't get distracted. Hopefully we're going to have a simplified defense where it doesn't matter how much pre-snap movement. And then finally, if you can keep Lawton in third down long situations, you've got a pretty good chance of beating this Bridgewater team.
I think at Bridgewater, you look on their end, their rushing grade, if you look at a grading scale, it's been an F. So they need to get it to a 90 to 95. They got to get it to an A. They need a running effort today against Emory and Henry, especially from Gillespie's. And I think if they rush for less than 50 today, we're probably celebrating an Emory and Henry victory today. So I expect the Eagles to try to get this throughout the game. Maybe some under center by Lawton, try to get those backs outside the tackle box. And Bridgewater loves that go route down the sidelines. I expect they're going to test those Emory press coverages. And I don't think you're going to see a traditional front out of this Eagle group. They can't let the Wasps attack on the rushing attack. I think they're going to have loaded fronts. They're going to make Emory and Henry pick an option early to not time to improvise. If the Wasps rush for 150 or above today, I think that's going to be advantage Emory and Henry.
Oh, I do too. I think if they can get Jordan early involved, it's going to be key for him, because, we want to keep that quarterback in a situation where he's comfortable and not forcing him to do more than he ordinarily could or does or has to do.
Bridgewater has won the toss. They will elect to receive. They'll go right to left from the home side. While we have a quick break in the action, Emory Henry Football is brought to you with support from Tumbling Creek Cider Company, heritage-inspired, handcrafted hard cider from locally sourced apples in the heart of Southwest Virginia. Open daily in the Springhouse, 112 Court Street, Northeast Abington, online at tumblingcreekcider.com.
And we're also underwritten by Snow's Fine Meats and Provisions. It's opens Tuesday through Saturday and online at Snow's Fine Meats. It's your old-fashioned butcher shop at 160 East Main Street in Abingdon. Snow's Fine Meats.
Emory Henry Football is brought to you with support by First Bank and Trust, offering mobile banking, Apple Pay, remote deposits, and more. Serving you with free checking since 1979, member FDIC, and on the web at firstbank.com.
And also, we're underwritten by Food City, the food experts. They're locally owned and operated for more than 60 years with 130 convenient locations plus. And Food City is a proud supporter of Emory Henry College Football.
We're brought to you by the Bank of Marion and all their hometown community branches throughout the region. The Bank of Marion, the home loan leader.
And we're also brought to you by Greco's, proud to bring the taste of our home to yours, serving Southwest Virginia and East Tennessee in locations with Abingdon and Johnson City.
And we are set to go. Jones has marked off. Tucker and Robinson Jr. are back deep, and the football is in the air. Good kick by Jones. It'll be Tucker taking it at the 4, up the numbers to the 10, to the 20, to the 30. Still going, twisting and turning, and finally he's dropped down, but not for an excellent gain of 30 yards up to the 39-yard line. It took Isaac Ratliff there to stop him. Otherwise, he's to Jones at midfield.
Last week, Josh, the Wasps held the kicks returns. Their average starting position was the 19-yard line, so already a little bit of a letdown in that special teams at the 39-yard line.
Well, we talked about the linebackers in this game, being such a strength and a consistency. Bridgewater's got really good special teams, too. Lawton goes under center, as we mentioned, 1st and 10. They'll put a man in motion. They give us to Gillespie's. They'll try the right side. Gillespie's slips through the first tackler, gets it up to about the 43-yard line, just off right tackle. That'll be in gain of almost, actually they'll mark him about 3 at the 42.
Yeah, DeAndre Chambliss making that stop over there, but a little 3-yard, 4-yard gain for the Eagles.
And that's what they want to do today. The Wasps need to run the ball. Eagles have to run the ball, too. Trips to the left side for the Eagles. They'll move a man in motion. That's Jones. It'll be a pistol formation. They'll try to run to the left side. Jalopy's trying to get outside. Good job there. Brent Butler wrapped him up, and then it was T.J. Payne to drop him at the 44 with a gain of 1.
Yeah, T.J. Payne coming up quick out of that strong safety position to shut that down. It looked like it had a little more yards than it did, but it gives them a 3rd and 5, Josh.
3rd and 5. So 2 runs so far for the Eagles. They'll go trips to the right side. They'll have one back to the backfield and another back on 3rd and 5. Lawton to throw. 3-step drop, throws out in the pass. Right. Pass is caught. Easy pitch and catch for the first down out of the backfield. That's Derek Jenkins. Lined up as a blocker, just floated out, and he's in the Emory territory at the 47.
Yeah, Josh, they ran the corner off because, we're in that press coverage, and then we had to try and cover that flat with the safety, and that's just, you just can't, it's hard to do.
So it's 1st and 10 Eagles. They pick up the 3rd down and 5. They were pretty good last week, almost 50% against the Yellow Jackets. Trips to the right side. They'll move Jalopy's to the left side. Now they'll move another receiver. There's that motion, Gary, all of a sudden on 1st and 10. Lawton to throw. 3-step drop, throws to the tight end, Kloosterman. Kloosterman wide open over the middle, diving forward. He's got a 1st down, and he's wrapped up, but not before he gets down to the 33, gain of 15.
Well, that's their tight ends. They sure do like to use them, Josh, and he found a soft spot in the middle of that secondary and just kind of sat down, and Lawton saw him.
Correction, that was McLaughlin there on the catch, but it's a 15-yard gain, and the Eagles are in business. They have it at the Emory 33. 2 tight ends set this time. Receivers to either side. They'll put Jones in motion. Lawton play action. Throws out in the pass. The flat. The pass is caught. Out there is Alliston Honeycutt, but an even better tackle by Idison nicely. Maybe a yard gain out to the 32.
Well, it's the same play they ran on the other side. They try to run the corner off and sneak the receiver, inside receiver, out into the flat. And nicely that time, coming up from his safety position, kind of sniffed that one out as he was on the move before the ball was overthrown.
That's the only guy out there. Yeah. Nicely. 2nd down and 9 for the Eagles at the 32. 3 receivers set. They have Jalopy's back there. Lawton rolls right. He'll throw. Passes out there. Oh, it's dropped. It hit Chad Jones right in the numbers at the 25 on an out route, and he dropped it.
Josh, we're already seeing it, and this is what I thought they'd do. What you do to get away from press coverage is you run your wide receivers in motion. You can't press coverage of somebody that's running across the field.
That ball should have been caught by the redshirt senior. That would have been a 1st down. Instead, it's 3rd and 9 coming up.
The Wasps have yet to get any pressure on Lawton.
4 receivers set. Lawton in the gun. Jalopy's to his right on 3rd and 9. Lawton drops back. It's going to be the screen to Jalopy's. Looking for blockers. Cuts back inside. Second effort. Puts his head down. And he is just close. He's short, though, at the 24. Nice job by Jalopy's making something out of nothing. And it brings up a 4th and 1 for the Eagles.
Well, credit that to 𝙧 Law. That was quite the collision by the running back and the free safety that time.
Jumbo package coming in, Gary. They're going to go for it.
Oh, yeah. So this early in the game, and they are moving the ball, so I would expect that.
Diamond formation, very tight formation here. Everybody up on the line on 4th and 1. Almost looks like a goal line. Lawton takes the snap, just pushes linebackers. He's got 2 linemen pushing him back. Boy, it's going to depend on the spot. I think he's got it.
Yeah, I think he does. I think they moved that pile enough with all that mass of humanity up front there.
Bailey Longo, well, it's nice to have an offensive lineman at 254 pushing behind you there. They loaded it up with 2 linemen in the backfield, and Lawton gets a yard and a 1st down.
Well, I think we've seen about 5 different formations already, and there's not been one snap that they hadn't been moving prior to it.
Receivers to either side. Lawton in the gun on 1st and 10 from the Emory 22. They'll put Kloosterman in motion. They give us to Jalopy's late handoff. Jalopy's cuts back inside. Boy, nice cutback by the senior. He dives forward inside the 15. He's close to another Bridgewater 1st down. He's just short at the 13.
The thing about Jalopy's is after he has the initial contact, he keeps those legs moving. He is hard to bring down.
Quickly to the line of the Eagles, 2nd down and a short 1 from the Emory 13. Under center goes Lawton, 2 tight ends. They'll move a man in motion. It's the jet sweep, getting to the outside, inside the 10, inside the 5, and diving for the pylon. And it's a touchdown for Bridgewater. Deontay Tucker takes the jet sweep, goes in almost untouched. The only question was he stayed in bounds? He did. And Bridgewater goes right down the field, 61 yards, and they lead at 6-0.
Well, Josh, they were able to get around Emory Henry defense that time. I didn't think that. I thought our defense was quick enough that would not happen. But boy, they've come out running the ball as we pretty much thought they would.
Hendren out for the PAT. He's a perfect 8 for 8 on the season. Freddie Watkins to hold for the Eagles. Snap is down. Hendren's kick on the way, plenty of distance, and it is good.
Josh, that 61-yard drive, 32 of it was in the air, but 29 of it, they've already surpassed their total rushing yards for last week. I think they were at 24 or 21 yards last week.
Yeah, and that's what Coach Lohn said we've got to do. We've got to be able to run the football. And, boy, that was probably the most impressive drive we've seen from an opposition so far this year.
Yeah, it was all over the field.
Yeah.
You have to cover 53 yards out there. You can't let up on any part of it, and they really spread a defense out.
So the Eagles go in and they do it in a little under 5 minutes, a little over 4 minutes on the opening drive. Conversions there on third and a couple of conversions there on third down and then on fourth down overall as well. And last week we talked about this in the pregame, but they converted last week against Macon. They were 8 of 17 on third and fourth downs. So this is a team that did convert last week. They just did it on the wrong side of the field.
Yeah, and they had the turnovers that hurt them, and then their ground game just got stopped by Macon, and then they had to totally one-dimensional.
Hendren set to kick. Wasp getting ready to go on offense. And it's going to be D'Angelo Gray at the 7. Gray at the 15 to the 20. Tries to get outside. He does. To the 25-30. He's got blockers midfield. Gray cuts it back inside. The kicker slows him down, and he finally gets him out of bounds. But wow, what a return by D'Angelo Gray. Cuts against the grain, shows his speed, and were it not for Hendren slowing him down at the 41, he's into the end zone.
Yeah, the kicker did a heck of a job slowing him down until the cavalry could get there. But what a run by D'Angelo Gray out of Thomasdale High School in South Chesterfield.
So a run back there unofficially. It's a 50-yard return, and the Emory Henry special teams showing its advantage there on that kick. Nice blocking downfield, and the Wasps will take over at the Bridgewater 41. 10:30 to go first quarter. Eagles lead at 7-0. 3 receivers set for Short. He's in the gun. Jordan to his left. And the give us to Jordan right up the gut. Just follows the pile of humanity, as Gary would call it, inside the 40. There was a 38. And we've got some extra pushing and shoving as they unpile. Gain of 3.
Well, that was just straight. We're going to come right at you type of run right there. And it looks like we've got number 17, Jermaine Ford, in for Elijah Rice today.
And we might see several of those folks in today for the Wasps. Gain of 3 for Jordan brings up 2nd and 7 from the Bridgewater 38. 3 receivers set for Short, who's in the gun. Short to throw. The out pattern and the aforementioned Ford, nice run. On the out pattern, it's got a first down at the 30.
Little down and out, and Short, that ball is out of his hands before Ford even made his break, but it's first down for the Wasps at the 29-yard line.
So the Wasps on the move after the nice kick return. They'll have it 1st and 10. Now at the Bridgewater 29. Under 10 minutes to go first quarter. Bridgewater up 7-0. 3 receivers set for Short, who's in the gun. Jordan to his left. Short ready for the snap. He's going to throw again. Throws out to Kosey. Kosey catches at the 25 and 20. Kosey accelerates to the 10, and he steps out of bounds at about the 4-yard line. Almost scores, but he stepped out at the 4. That's a gain of 25 just on a swing route.
Little screen there. Kosey trying to get in behind Gunnar Griffin. Gunnar Griffin, a great blocker out there.
It'll be 1st and goal Wasps at the Bridgewater 4. Emory quickly to the line. Bridgewater still moving around. To give us to Jordan right up the gut. Jordan untouched for the touchdown. Emory looked like they caught Bridgewater napping a little bit, and Jordan goes untouched, and Emory strikes right back.
Boy, Emory and Henry takes the ball quickly down the field. Kyle Short made some critical passes right there. Ford with one of them on that down and out, but Kosey, the long pass for almost a touchdown. I thought he just about, but he was so close to getting into the end zone.
So the Wasps take a little bit less than 2 minutes to answer. Short field on the kick return by Gray, and that'll be Jones to try to tie it up. Snap is down, short holds, kick up by Jones. It's up and it's good. And with 9:10 to go, Emory Henry strikes quickly. Both of the offenses looking real sharp early on. We're tied at 7.
Yeah, it's where are the defenses, Josh? Right now, I know Coach Newsom said whoever can run the ball, but it may be one of those whoever can stop the other one first will win the game. But 2 quick scores both by each team, and both offenses looked really sharp.
Yeah, really sharp. Good. Both teams with good kickoff returns. You know, Bridgewater went 61 yards. Wasp only need 41. Yeah, right now the offenses look like they're playing chess right now, and the defense is still catching up on checkers.
Yeah, and the Wasp, that last series, what's so concerning is the 10 plays. They never had any pressure on any of the pass plays, and the Eagles were able to run the ball. Gillespie is certainly a good running back.
Minute 32, the Wasps took the score there. Pretty quick.
I think Coach Lim told you that Gillespie had some of the most outstanding 2-yard runs.
Yes.
Of last week that he'd ever seen.
Yeah, and he showed a lot more. Unfortunately, they were longer than 2.
Yeah.
Kick by Jones is deep. Tucker drive back to about the 2. He's to the 10, up to the 15 to the 20. This time he's not going to get to the 39 as he's dropped down just past the 20, up to the 22-yard line. Trevor Dowdell, the first one there to meet him, and the Eagles will start 1st and 10 from the 22.
A much better start for the Wasp defense. Instead of the 39, they're on, the 20?
The 22.
Yeah, 22, so much better coverage that time. But, boy, this defense has got to figure out a way to get on to Lawton.
The 1st and 10 Eagles, they'll start their second series from their own 22. They took the opening drive and scored. Lawton will start out in the pistol. Gillespie's behind him. They'll move a man in motion to the left side. That's Jenkins on 1st and 10. And Lawton will throw. Lawton with time. Deep left side, right side. Looking for a receiver. Knocked away and then almost grabbed on the deflection. Crimes knocked it away at the 40, and it was nearly caught on the ground by Tucker. That was almost a dynamic catch.
Well, I tell you what, now Tucker was pushing off on Crimes. I thought there may have been a flag there against the Eagles for offensive pass interference. He had his arms extended, pushing Crimes away from him, but there's no call on the play. Crimes made a really good effort to recover from that.
So they went on that go route there, as we mentioned.
They love it.
Lawton, incomplete pass on 2nd and 10. He'll go from the gun. Bunch formation to the left. It's going to be the inside. Yes, it's picked off by Swegheimer. Swegheimer just picked off the option pass like it was nothing to it, and Emory takes over at the 13.
A little shuttle pass trying to get that back coming underneath, and Swegheimer had gotten past his man, and Lawton put it in the stomach of Swegheimer for a huge turnover inside the red zone or 20-yard line.
Swegheimer had blown up that bunch coverage, and as soon as Lawton pitched it, it went right to number 9.
The Wasps were at 91% scoring in the red zone, 71% touchdowns. So they've had a couple of extra field goals, but boy, you want to make sure with a team like this, you want to finish this.
1st and 10, Emory Henry at the Bridgewater 13. Short will be in the gun, 3 receiver set. Short to give us to Jordan. We've got flags down on the play.
I think you got movement on the Wasp.
You do. They got on Kashawn Cozy, guilty of the false start. You hate to see that from the wide out.
Boy, you do. They practice all the time moving on the ball, not listening to the count. So
it's 1st and 15. First penalty of the day for either team comes with 8:49 left in this first quarter. We're tied at 7. Short will be in the gun on 1st and 15. Short, they give this to Jordan. Jordan just waiting for a hold. Now finds one. Now dives forward. He gets the penalty yardage back and then some. Down to the 10-yard, patient 8-yard run from Jordan.
Jordan just, kind of, and that's what you do on the zone. You try to wait and let that hole open up, and that's what he did. And then once he was hit, contacts made him drug a couple of them a few more yards.
2nd down and 7 for Emory Henry at the Bridgewater 10, trying to capitalize after the Swegheimer interception. It'll be Short in the gun with 3 receivers. Jordan to his right. Short Late give. Oh, he's going to keep it. Short goes right up the gut for a touchdown. A beautiful play on the RPO. Everybody went to Jordan, so Short kept it from 10 yards out.
Well, I said earlier we have to have the quarterback. One of the keys to winning today is that the running game has got to feature the quarterback because those linebackers are keen on Jordan. And they're going to go with him every time. And Kyle Short that time goes untouched straight up the middle of the field. The linebackers had just vacated the area trying to contain Jordan around that end.
So Emory Henry, a very short field. They go in after a 1-minute drive. Snap is down to Short. Kick on the way by Jones. It's up and good. Emory Henry has had 2 very short fields, and they've capitalized on both occasions. The second, off the turnover, they lead this one 14-7.
Well, Schweigheimer is stepping in front of that little shuffle pass up the middle. Great play by him to blow that up, but then the Wasp offense coming in, as I said, they're 91% in the red zone, but and like 71% scoring touchdowns, but that time they increased that margin or that percentage. Nice looking run by Kyle Short, and Newsom had said they really need to get him involved in the running game, and evidently they worked on it quite a bit.
Yeah. Right there, and boy, both offenses there, and for Bridgewater, their offenses had been clicking, and then that errant shovel pass went for an interception.
Yeah.
So Emory and Henry, they get the turnover, first turnover of the game, and they turn it into points, and Emory and Henry leads at 14-7. And we're still got 8:12 left in the first quarter. It'll be Jones set to kick. And it's going to be Tucker and Robinson Jr. back deep for the Eagles. 14-7 Emory. Tucker's going to get another shot, this time at the 8. Up the numbers to the 20, to the 25, to the 30, and then he's cut down at about the 32-yard line. Nate Hamilton with the stop for Emory Henry.
Jones did not get much air underneath him. It's more like a line drive, which enabled the Bridgewater return team to bring it further up the field. So need to get some air under. He did last week. Jones did a great job of getting air under and allowing the kickoff team to get down the field.
1st and 10 Eagles. They'll start at the 32 this time on their 3rd series. This time they'll go 4 wide. Lawton will be in the gun. Gillespie's to his left. Lawton ready for the snap. Play action. Throws over the middle in a crowd. Nice catch in a crowd at the 35-yard line up to the 42-yard line is Jenkins. And that's a gain of 10 and a first down.
Brett Butler just about, you talking about throwing it into the crowd, I thought Butler might have intercepted that. He was right there with the receiver, just kind of thrown over his head.
1st and 10 pickup there for the Eagles now at the 42. Receivers to either side. A little bit of a diamond formation back there with Lawton. And it's going to be the give to Gillespie. Tries the outside, tries to bounce outside, still bouncing, and then finally Emory Henry drops him. It took 4 Wasps to get Gillespie's down, but they did. Well, it'll be a gain of 1.
You notice Gillespie's does not he never stops his feet. Whenever you hit him, he's going to churn until you get him on the ground.
Good job there by the front 4. They look like it was Chambliss there forced that play to the outside, and the Wasps converged on Gillespie's. 2nd and 9 now for the Eagles at their own 43. Lawton in the gun. Emory with 4 down linemen. Lawton, he'll have Gillespie's to his right on 2nd and 9. Lawton going to throw. Throws out in the flat, and the pass is caught immediately. Tackled at the 45-yard line. They caught Jenkins, but Jalen Crimes comes up and makes a nice tackle, a gain of only 2.
Yeah, Crimes staying at home on that corner. He didn't bite on the deep route and let the safety take that, and he was able to make the stop and give them a 3rd and long, just what the Wasps wanted to dial up here.
3rd and 7 for the Bridgewater Eagles at their own 45. Bunch formation, trips to the left, 2 receivers right. They'll move a man in motion as Johnson on 3rd and 7. Lawton to throw. Lawton throws to the left side. It's knocked away nicely. Crimes did a good job there, knocking it away from Johnson, but didn't go over his back at midfield.
Yeah, that's T.J. Payne that made that play. Came over the top and was able to get over him without putting his other hand on him. Good series by the Wasps that time.
And the first punt for either team will take place as Garrett Graves is set to kick for the Eagles.
And D'Angelo Graves taking Elijah Rice's place on the punt return.
Graves, impressive average. He's got a 39-yard average so far, and he almost gets it blocked. Good kick. As this is going to take a bounce in the air and then just go sideways and then backwards and down at the 16-yard line. That's a gain. That's a kick of about 39, right on average for Graves. Good job to get that away, and the Wasps will take over from their own 17.
Yeah, Donovan Penix and number 50, Logan Tomlinson, just about blocked that punt.
So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Wasps back at their own 17. 6:07 to go first quarter, and Emory Henry with a 14-7 lead. They'll come out with 3 receivers in this formation. Short will be in the gun, and it will be Jordan to his right. Bridgewater with 3 down linemen and a 4th at a standing position. Short going to go counter, rolls right. Looking for the tight end, is covered, but still completes it. Nice throw and catch to the tight end. That was Zach Venhorst out of the backfield. Only a gain of about 1 to the 19. Bridgewater had that well covered.
Yeah, they did. It looked like it was going to turn into a big play because Kyle Short with the play fake and then kind of sprinting out here looked like he's wide open, might be able to run, but boy, those linebackers for the Eagles are quick.
Gain of actually, they'll give him 2 to the 19, brings up 2nd and 8. 3 receivers in this formation. It'll be Short in the gun, Jordan to his right. Short, then give it to Jordan up the gut. Jordan gets to the 20 and then maybe the 21-yard line before he's thrown backwards. Brett Tharp, the first one there for the Eagles, and it's going to bring up 3rd down for the Wasps. 3rd down, and we'll call it about 6.
I was going to say Jordan taken down by Jordan, but I guess Tharp got there before him.
Yeah.
I think the other Jordan was in on it too.
Right. A generous spot. That makes it 3rd and 5 for the Wasps at the 22. 3 receivers in this formation. Griffith is the single receiver down at the bottom of the field. Eagles with 3 safeties on this formation. Only 3 down linemen. Short, it's going to be the draw to Jordan. Good call. Jordan gets outside. He's got a first down. Devontae Jordan. A shoestring tackle away from breaking it. Gets it up to the 40. So on 3rd and 5, a draw for 18 yards.
And Jordan's lost his shoe here. I don't know if he's going to come out.
Nope, he's going to go at it. He's got his shoe back there. You have to get that on. The Short's going to make sure he gets his shoe on. Wasp will bring in Micah English on this play to replace Jordan while he gets his shoe back.
Well, Micah English, 10 carries for 50 yards last week.
1st and 10 Wasps at the 40 after the gain of 18. Play action, short pump fake, throws over the middle. Cozy is hit hard, and he drops the football at the 44. Nice hit as soon as he got the football there from Val West.
Yeah, and Cozy got his hands up like I think I got hit before the ball got here.
It was very, very close, but a good play by West to jar that ball loose. It would have only gone for about 3 or 4 yards.
Jordan back in the game now.
It's 2nd and 10 now for the Wasps at the 40. 4:43 to go first quarter. 14-7 Emory. Short in the gun. The give is going to be to Jordan. Off right tackle. Boy, and he is slammed backwards at about the 44-yard line. There's that linebacking core there we talked about. Sean Harris is the first one there, and then Tharp finished off Jordan, brings up 3rd and 6.
Yeah, Tharp really came in there with some authority and stopped that play.
So 3rd and 6 for the Wasps. They picked up 3rd down a minute ago on the draw. Let's see what they do here on 3rd and 6. Again, Bridgewater going with 3 down linemen here. They're going to play coverage. They'll move Griffith in motion, do the Wasps to the left on 3rd and 6. Short in the gun, 4 receivers. Short looking that way. Throws short. Pass is caught by Griffith, but he's going to be short of the first down. Low throw. He makes the catch at the 49. It's going to bring up 4th and 1.
Well, you rushed for almost 400 yards last week, and now you got 4th and 1 at the 50 or 49-yard line, but Newsom is going to be conservative here and punt the ball away.
Wasps want him to go for it. The lineman did too.
Yeah. Well, coming off of a 400-yard rushing game, you think you can get 1 yard.
So 4th and 1, punting formation comes out for the Wasps, and first time we've seen Garrett Morgan. Back deep is Robert Barlow to receive this kick for Bridgewater on 4th and 1. Good snap. Morgan gets it away. Good kick. Fair catch signaled for by Barlow Jr. takes it at the 14. So a 37-yard punt, more importantly, no return. And with 3:17 to go in the first quarter, the Eagles will take over, trailing 14-7.
Yeah, and Josh, both defenses we were talking about, where are they? But they seem to have kind of come into their own here and kind of settled things down. Wasp leading 14-7, but both defenses forcing punts that last time.
So the Eagles will start things at their 15 with 3:17 to go in this first quarter. Emory 14, Bridgewater 7. There'll be Lawton in the gun. He'll have Gillespie's to his left. Trips left side, single receiver right. They'll move Drumgoole in motion to the right side. He lines up slot right. Lawton to throw. Lawton throws deep right side. Wide open, busted coverage, and they can't complete it. The completion, a little bit too far out there for Drumgoole, but he was wide open, and if that throw is a yard shorter, he's going to score.
Well, they got our safety looking into the backfield, and he got flat-footed looking at the play fake, the run, and the corner had pulled up short in the flat, and there was nobody deep, so dodged the bullet right there.
Yeah, 2nd and 10 for the Eagles at the 15. Lawton wishes he has that one back. Gilliam in motion to give us to Gillespie's on the draw. Hurdles a man, spins forward, and he'll get it up to the 19, a gain of 4. I really like watching that young man run.
Yeah, I do too. Looks like we got an injured Eagle on the field. Josh, that would have been an 85-yard touchdown pass if he'd been able to hold on. There was no Wasp within 15 yards of him.
No, the referee was the closest one to that play. And we've got an injured Eagle here while we have a break in the action. Again, we want to tell you about our underwriters making the game possible.
Yeah, Emory Henry Football is brought to you with the support of Tumbling Creek Cider. They're open daily at the Spring House. It's at 112 Court Street in Northeast Abingdon, and they're online at tumblingcreekcider.com. Tumbling Creek Cider Company, serving the spirit of our community.
Emory Henry Football is underwritten by Snow's Fine Meats and Provisions, a neighborhood butcher shop in downtown Abingdon, open Tuesday through Saturday, online at snowsfinemeats.com, 160 East Main Street, Abingdon.
And we're also brought to you with the support of First Bank and Trust, offering mobile banking, Apple Pay, remote deposits, and much, much more. They've been serving the community with free checking since 1979. They're a member of the FDIC, and you can visit them on the web at firstbank.com.
Emory Henry Football is underwritten by Food City, the food experts, locally owned and operated for more than 60 years with 130 convenient locations. Food City is proud to support Emory Henry College Football.
And Emory Henry College Football is brought to you by the Bank of Marion and all of their hometown community branches throughout the region.
And also support for Emory Henry Football comes from Greco's Grill and Cafe, proud to bring the taste of our home to yours. Serving Southwest Virginia, East Tennessee, locations in Abingdon and Johnson City. More info at getgrecos.com. Eat differently at Greco's. The injured player walking off was Tyler Duckstein, the right guard for the Eagles. And the Eagles reset here on 3rd and 6. Lawton drops back. Lawton under pressure for the first time. He gets away. Lawton throws off his back foot. He's incomplete. Swertheimer was in the backfield, and as he threw backward there, he couldn't get the football to the 30, so good pressure this time by the Wasps.
Yeah, great pressure on a 3rd and long, and Swertheimer in there, and Lawton just kind of throwing it into the ground to get rid of it.
So back-to-back possessions in which the Wasps will force a punt. And it'll be the second time we see Graves, so the Wasps should get good field position out of this.
I tell you, this Bridgewater offense is dynamic, is it not? I mean, it is. They are all over the field.
Graves with the punt, and he gets it away, and they hit him down the backfield. Here comes a flag down. Gray catches it at the 43. The most important thing is this is going to be running or roughing. If it's running, it's not a first down. If it's roughing, it is.
I think it's going to be roughing myself. I think that's a pretty hard lick on that punter.
And you're correct. And that's a tough call against Emory Henry. They would have gotten the ball at the 44. Instead, it's a first down for the Eagles.
Yeah, Trevor Dowdell delivering the knockout blow on that roughing the punter, and that just, you can't hit them that hard when they're defenseless.
Yeah, and that will move the football up to the 34, and that is a first time in a few weeks we've seen a special teams no-no for Emory Henry.
Yeah, Coach Buzzo, the defensive coordinator, he's got his defense honed in, get 2 straight stops, and then now he's got to get back out there.
So the Eagles, new life now at their own 34. 2:38 to go first quarter, 14-7 Emory. Lawton goes under center. Single setback is Gillespie's. They'll put Tucker in motion. They give it to Gillespie. He'll try the left side. Can't get away from Brent Butler. Wow, Butler stays at home, and he'll drop Gillespie's for a yard loss. And then gets help from also Rasheed Ellis as well.
Yeah, Rasheed a little bit slow getting up, but he's staying in the game. That time they motioned away. The corner had to drop back to play in the safety, but Brent Butler was able to come out on this edge and stop that, what looked like a wide open run.
2nd and 11 for Bridgewater at their own 33. Lawton in the gun, Tucker in motion. And we've got...
Yeah, Ellis he's injured.
Yeah, he was grabbing the left leg, and then he went down just before the snap.
Yeah.
2:03 to go. Clock has stopped in this first quarter. Ellis, the junior, out of Tappahannock, Virginia. He's up on one knee, so that's a good sign. So we hope it's just a stinger or something minor. And he'll walk off under his own power.
Rasheed Ellis has had a good season so far, and it's hard to tell what that injury is, but let's just hope it's minor and they can get him back in.
Brings up 2nd and 11 now for the Eagles, and the clock will restart here momentarily. We'll be under 2 minutes left in this first quarter. Eagles come out. They'll have trips to the right side. They'll have one tight end left, and they'll have Lawton in the gun with Gillespie's to his right on 2nd and 11. Tucker goes in motion. Lawton to throw. Lawton throws that screen. One-handed grab by Gillespie's, but nice pursuit out there by the Wasps. DeAndre Chambliss saw that coming a mile away. It's going to be no gain.
Yeah, and Ivan Phillips was all over that one, so good play by the Wasps linebacker and down lineman. Number 92, Zion Grant, is in for Rasheed Ellis now at defensive tackle.
3rd and 11 for the Eagles, back at the 33. Minute 20 and counting left in the opening quarter. Lawton in the gun with Gillespie's to his right. Lawton drops back. Emory brings the blitz. They pick it up over the middle. Pass is intercepted. Ice Addison nicely steps in front of the run at the 45. Drives it down to the 38.
Well, Josh, that time Lawton got a little bit greedy. He had a tight end wide open coming across, but he tried to go the deeper route, which nicely had a good coverage on him. He tried to thread the needle. Nicely steps in front of him, but his tight end was wide open underneath. He just chose the deeper route.
And nicely in single coverage out there too, Gary.
Mm-hmm. Nicely had a big interception last week, and this keeps the streak going.
2 interceptions now in the first quarter for Lawton, and the Wasps will take over at the Bridgewater 38. They'll come out with 3 receivers in this formation. Short in the gun, Jordan to his right. Short ready for the snap. Bridgewater shows blitz. They come off the right side. They pick it up. Pump fake. Short throws. Wide open is Cozy. Cozy's got it. He can walk into the end zone. He can run the Glade Spring. It's a touchdown. 38 yards out. What a play fake from Short.
Well, the play fake throws the linebackers, but they got caught in a cover 2 where they had the 2 deep safeties, and Cozy just split the seam. You know, safeties got each half of the field, and Cozy just split the seam, and Short, all he had to do is put some air under it, and Cozy, and thank goodness he didn't run to Glade. He stopped before he got to the Brooks Fieldhouse, and he's back on the field.
Wasps turn in, cash in on their second Bridgewater turnover. Jones's kick a knuckleball, but it goes through. That's the kind of first quarter it's been for Emory and Henry. And with 59 seconds left to go in the opening quarter, 2 Bridgewater turnovers have led to 14 points and a 21-7 lead.
Well, Bridgewater must be over there saying deja vu all over again, because they had 2 interceptions with Macon, which really hurt them, and they ended up being put out of the game. Right now they're 21-7. They were 24-7 against Macon, and then Macon just started rolling up for yards with the rushing attack. And so, but you know, the defense right now, Josh, is really, Buzzo seems to be dialed in on Coach Lim's movement offense. So they don't seem to be biting for any of that candy that they're trying to flash in front of their faces. So good job by the defense.
Wasp, 2 interceptions so far in this one. The first one was really unconventional as Swegheimer stepped in front of a shovel pass and got the first one, and then nicely got the one here just a second ago.
Well, you know, last week one of the big things was the field position that the offense had, and today they've scored 3 times from a short field, and it's all been good defense and special teams.
Jones is going to kick again. This time he's going to kick it short and tries to kick it away. The up man cakes it at the 18, drops it, picks it back up, actually meandering his way. Pretty nice return by Freddie Watkins, and then he's finally dropped at about the 27.
Well, that kick right there is like using your 9-iron. You try to get it up in the air, and what you're hoping for is they'll call a fair catch, and there'll be no return. But that time, Bridgewater just caught it and tried to keep going.
So the Eagles will start at their own 27-yard line, now trailing 21-7. Eagles were up 7-0 early in this game, and Wasp have counted with 21 in a row.
And at this point in the game, Josh, they're 1 for 5 on third downs.
They'll come out with 3 receivers in this set. Lawton will be in the gun on 1st and 10. They give us to Gillespie. Tries to the left side, gets away from one man. Can't get away from Jordan Mighty. He'll be no gain to the 27.
Jordan Mighty wrapped those big arms around Gillespie's, and you're not going anywhere.
Wasps have done a really good job defensively on slowing him down. Yeah. And other than that botched pass coverage, the defense has been sharp in the last 8 minutes. 2nd and 10 for the Eagles now. 20 seconds left in the quarter. Receivers to either side. Lawton will be in the gun. Gillespie's to his right. They'll move a tight end to the right side as Kloosterman. Lawton to give us to Gillespie's right up the gut. Not a whole lot of running room there. Butler kind of stymied him at the 29, and that was it. Gain of 2.
Well, Coach Lamb and the Bridgewater Eagles are teetering on the edge of what happened to them last week of their running game being shut down and having to depend on Lawton.
Yeah, absolutely, and that kind of will take us to the end of the first quarter, and what a response for Emory Henry after Bridgewater landed the first punch. Emory Henry has countered, and they lead this game 21-7, and certainly we talk about the defensive efforts, and we have to because there's 2 big interceptions, but boy, you got to like the way this Emory offense right now is clicking. Kyle Short making a good decision on the RPO. Jordan is running the ball well. Nice coverage is in, and when you can run that RPO well, you get plays like Cozy being wide open.
Yeah, well, that's what Jordan does in Montgomery and English. That's what they do for you is that the linebackers have to honor those play fakes, and then that leaves you short in that secondary to set up the runs. And then they got caught in that cover 2 coverage, and both safeties were having the field, and Cozy just split them. But the defense here now, another 3rd and 8. Bridgewater's got to navigate, and let's see if they don't bring some more pressure onto Lawton.
Wasps leading at 21-7. Big 3rd down here for the Eagles. I know it's the first part of the second quarter, but this is a big 3rd and 8 for them. They've got it at the 29. 4 wide for Lawton. They'll put a man in motion as McLaughlin. Lawton ready for the snap in the gun. Looks right, throws out in the plat, and pass is caught, but short of the first down at the 35-yard line. The pass is caught by Jenkins. Nice tackle by T.J. Tester, and the Wasps force another punt.
Yeah, that time they cleared out and tried to throw something underneath, and T.J. Tester stayed at home, and Grimes also in on that tackle, forcing a 3rd punt for the Eagles today.
Last time out there, the Wasps were a little bit eager. Now the Eagles will shift out, and they'll have a couple of gunners to the left side. Wasps going to be very cautious here on 4th and 2 from the 35. Last time they got guilty of a foul against Graves. Graves gets it away. Good kick. And Graves just going to let that ball bounce, and it takes a Bridgewater roll inside the 20, inside the 15, still going all the way down to the 9-yard line. That is a 56-yard punt.
Nice punt that time by the Eagles. And this is the longest field that the Wasps have had to try to navigate. They've had really good field position, short fields on all 3 scores.
Well, Gary, you'd love to see, if you're an Emory fan, a nice, long, sustained drive here with the running attack. So far, Gary, it's been a good show so far. Jordan, right?
Oh, it has. Jordan right now 6 carries for 40 yards.
He's into the game to the right side for Short, who's in the gun on 1st and 10. Wasps' worst field position at the 9, 14-11 to go to the half. Emory up 21-7. Short in the gun. They give us to Jordan. Stutter step. Jordan gets out of a crowd to the 15, to the 20, and he's got a 1st down. So on 1st down, Bridgewater brings 8, and Jordan beats it for a gain of 11.
Well, that's what you need, and just like you said, what you want to see now, that let's let that ground game take over and grind this thing out.
So gain of 11, actually 12 for Jordan on first down. They'll have a 1st and 10, do the Wasps, throwing 21. 3 receivers in the formation again. This time Jordan lines up to the left side of short. Now he'll pop back over to the right. Short, play action, throws short, passes high, but caught by Cozy. Short gain on the out pattern to about the 25-yard line before he's hit down by Aaron Moore.
Yeah, it's short. The pass was high and behind Cozy, so by the time he brought it in, they were already there. There's no room to run.
Gain of 3 brings up 2nd and 7 for the Wasps, throwing 24. They'll have 3 receivers in this formation to the Wasps. Jordan to his left. Bridgewater with 3 down linemen, 1 linebacker to the right. They give us to Jordan right off tackle. Steps, dives forward, and just kind of falls forward to the 28-yard line. So he made something out of a nothing there for the gain of 4, brings up 3rd and 3.
Yeah, that time Kyle Short should have pulled that ball and taken it himself. I think it was a bad read on his part, and Jordan had no hole to run in and made something out of it. But Kyle Short, he could still be running.
3rd and 3 now for the Wasps, throwing 28. 3 receivers in this set. Short will be in the gun. Jordan to his right. Do the Wasps try another run here on 3rd and short? Short ready for the snap. They will. Jordan right up the gut, dives forward, got a 1st down. So on 3rd and 3, right up the gut up to the 39, a gain of 11.
Yeah, that time the Wasps kicked out that defensive end. They folded everything down, kicked out the defensive end. Jordan tucked it up underneath him. So nice run by Jordan.
So the Wasps now a couple of times on 3rd down, they've gone to the ground and they've been successful. 1st and 10, Emory now throwing 39. This drive started at the 9. Short changing it up here with 12-10 and counting left in the opening half. Emory up by 14. Short in the gun, 3 wide. Jordan to his right. They give it up. Short's going to keep it on the RPO like you mentioned, Gary. Dives forward, and he's got another 1st down at the 49. He's crashed down by Deshaun Davis, but not. And then there comes a late flag in the secondary.
Well, we had some rooster fighting there with Jermaine Ford and number 26 from the Eagles. I'm not sure. I think this is going to be on the Eagles.
Flag 20 yards away from the play. So a head coach is going to be upset here momentarily.
One of the two.
Or it could be offsetting, and then they're both upset.
Yeah. Nice run. Pulled it short that time. That's been there. It was there.
So they've given Emory a 1st down, and it's going to be offsetting. It's going to go, the offsetting penalties will be against Chase Rosenthal, and it will also go against Jermaine Ford. So Emory will get the 1st down.
And it's after the play, so it was whistled dead. So, but, you know, all week long they've worked with Kyle Short pulling the ball, and he scored 1 touchdown, and it's a very similar play. It's just a read option where he's looking at that defensive end. If he comes up the field, then he's going to pull it and go inside of him.
So it'll be 1st and 10 Wasps at the 49 after all the offsiding penalties are done. They give us to Jordan. Tries to get bounced outside. Now reverses field. Short turning as a blocker. Then Short wisely getting out of the way as he gets into Bridgewater territory. Does Jordan gets down to the 48.
Yeah. Coach Newsom telling Short, we didn't hire you to block.
Yeah. So Jordan, nothing doing there. He reverses field. Dustin Green on the stop for the Eagles. It'll bring up 2nd and 7 as we approach 11 minutes to go into the half. 21-7, Emory and Henry.
Well, the offense already has flipped the field. If they had to punt right now, they'd pin them deep. But I'd like to see this drive keep going.
2nd and 7 for Emory at the Bridgewater 48. 3 receivers for Short, 3 down linemen for the Eagles. They give us to Jordan. Stutter step, and he lost the football. That's not what you wanted to see, and I think the Eagles have got it, and they do at the 47. Jordan, when he stutter stepped, it looked like Tharp reached for the football and knocked it out, and then the Eagles recovered, and that's the break that the Eagles needed right at midfield.
Boy, it sure was. You talk about breathing life into a team here. Wasps driving from the 9-yard line all the way down to the Eagle 48-yard line and then fumbling.
So the Eagles with their best field position of the day, it comes after the first Emory and Henry turnover, and they'll take over at the 48, trailing 21-7 with 11:02 to go into the half. It'll be Lawton in the gun, bunch formation to the right on 1st and 10. Lawton, they'll try the counter to Gillespie's. Gillespie stutter step. Boy, he is not going anywhere. Jay Swigheimer throws him down for a 3-yard loss.
Boy, that Wasp defense is very quick. Swigheimer is also very strong, and he just flipped him down. Gillespie's down like he was a rag doll.
Boy, the Wasps have really stepped up their rush defense here since the early going. It's going to bring up 2nd and 13 now for the Eagles back there in 45. 10:30 to go in this opening half. Emory up 21-7. Trips to the right side. It'll be Lawton in the gun. And he'll roll right on 2nd down. Lawton looking, pump fake, and he just throws it into the ground. There was nothing there. Threw it at the feet of Tucker because T.J. Payne was covered and because Rasheed Ellis was on his tail at the 40.
And, Coach Lim talked about it, that he can't go out there and block for him. That time the Wasps front, it looked kind of like a screen pass developing the way the Wasps came through the offensive line. They were on Lawton from the very get-go.
Brings up 3rd and 13 now for the Eagles at their own 45. So after the turnover, they've gone backwards. And this will be a win for the Emory defense if they can go 3 and out. 3 receivers for Lawton. They'll move Jenkins in motion on 3rd and 13. Lawton rolls right. Lawton's going to be hit in the back one strap. Sacked by Jay Swigheimer back at the 37. One-arm sack.
A one-arm sack for about a 8-yard loss there. Swigheimer, they never did block him. They tried to roll again like they did the previous time, and they weren't able to block the front. That time it was even worse.
And so an 11-yard that drive goes 11 yards in reverse for the Eagles, and the Wasps will get the football back. Nice job of avoiding that turnover at midfield. Graves set to kick, and it's almost blocked again. This time Graves was run into. There was no flag down. Nice kick again by Graves. Inside the 10, that ball's still rolling down to the 6-yard line. That is a 57, 58-yard punt by Graves.
That's a weapon right there. You give the field position to the defense right here, the 6-yard line, just like the last time it was 9 yards. Josh, you're talking about the rushing game for the Eagles. They're now at 24 yards rushing after that loss by Lawton. But this is turning into if you saw the Macon game, it's starting to look a little bit like it. Except I don't think their punter was doing quite so well.
Well, you got to tip your hat to Graves. I mean, that's 2 pressure-packed kicks he's made, and the Wasps will start back at their 6. 3 receivers in the formation. Short will be in the gun. Jordan to his left. They'll try Jordan to get more play action. Short pump fakes in a crowd. It's caught by Ford. Nice hands by Ford at the 25 up to the 30. That ball was rocketed in there with a gain of 21.
Josh, that play right there was made possible because Kyle Short sat there and held the ball for a little bit longer than he usually does, and he allowed Ford to come through the coverage. And that's the kind of play that they've been trying to work with Kyle, is you don't have to throw it so quick.
1st and 10, Emory Henry at the 30. Shorten in the gun on 1st and 10. 9 minutes, will be under 9 minutes left in the opening half. Emory up 21-7. Short will be in the gun. Jordan to his left. 3 receivers set. They give this to Jordan. Jordan, we've got flags down on the play.
I think this is going to go against the Wasp.
At the 30-yard line, they're going to go in reverse. It's going to be a false start against Emory. 2nd penalty for the Wasps, both of which have been on false starts.
And Kyle Short clapping for the ball. It just never was snapped, and then you have a false start. I'm not sure what happened right there.
1st and 15 now for the Wasps, back at the 25. And the Wasps will come out again with 3 receivers in this set. Short will be in the gun. Jordan to his right. Short ready for the snap. Short looks left, throws left. There's Ford again on the slant. Up to the 35, dives forward. Up to the 39. That's he almost gets a first down, gain of almost 14.
Yeah, on that spot, I thought he was a little bit further up the field, but evidently his knee must have hit earlier. But nice throw by Kyle Short again.
And that's a play, Gary, there where they're playing 8 yards off the ball. You'll just take it.
Mm-hmm.
Gain of 14 for Ford, has been really strong in this first half and playing in the place of Elijah Rice. 2nd and 1 for the Wasps, their own 39. Short in the gun. To give us to Jordan, off left tackle. Jordan's got a first down up to the 43-yard line. Sean Harris on the stop with the Eagles, but not before the Wasps move the chains again.
You know, the Eagles are playing this really soft. These corners are 7, 8, 9 yards deep, and then they've got their linebacker, number 41, playing a robber back there. He's playing like a short free safety. Not sure why that's what they're doing.
1st and 10 Wasps at the own 43. 7:40 and counting left in this first half. Wasps have scored 21 straight and are looking for more. 3 receivers set. Boy, they are really laying off the wide receivers here, and they'll give it to Short. Short's going to keep it.
Nice
Short gets
move.
outside, gets to midfield, and then he's crunched down at midfield on the RPO. It'll be a gain of about 7 on first down. Nice job there by RPO of Short, not only taking it, but getting down at midfield before he got hit.
Yeah, a nice move out there. He kind of froze that linebacker. Looked like he was going to come up on him. But, again, I like seeing him get involved in this ground game.
2nd and 3 for the Wasps right at midfield. Under 7 minutes to go in this first quarter. First half, should say. 21-7 Emory. Short in the gun with 3 receivers. Both of the linebackers blitz. Emory counters with Cozy out there. Cozy gets the football to the 45. Cozy with a nice block out there by Ford, and he's got a first down to the Bridgewater 40. Gain of 10.
Coach Newsom has really been impressed by these wide receivers' ability to block, and it seems like every one of them gets on someone and they just stay on him. Cozy, well, he's hard to bring down.
1st and 10 pickup for the Wasps. Now 1st and 10 now, I should say, after that pickup, down to the Bridgewater 40. Again, 3 wide, and Wasps caught the Eagles in the blitz there to perfection. He gave us to Jordan right off tackle. Jordan stutter steps, dives forward, hurdles his way down to the 33, gain of 7. And Devontae Jordan, boy, just is so patient running the football here. And the Emory Henry offense quickly to the line here on 2nd down. They actually caught the Eagles with 2 men on the field. They get down to Ford, and then Ford loses the handle, incomplete pass.
Incomplete.
The Eagles had 12 men on the field. They couldn't get their linemen off, and boy, it was a free play. Ford had it and then couldn't take it at the 15.
Well, this should be a first down with 2nd and 3. This should be a first down on the pillar.
It will be. And I like Short. They're recognizing that they were 12. They weren't going to get off the field in time. Why not take a free shot?
Yeah. Not playing like a first-year quarterback, is it?
No, he's not. It's a 1st and 10 pickup for the Wasps now at the Bridgewater 28. Jordan will come out, and taking his place will be English, the junior out of Roanoke. Short will be in the gun. English to his right. 1st and 10 now from the Bridgewater 28. 3 receivers for Short. Eagles show blitz. Here they come up the middle. They give us to English. They get past it to the 20. English to the 15. English still going inside the 10, down to the 7. Great job by the offensive line.
Yeah.
Nice kick out there. English has a gain of almost 25.
Micah English, same high school as Grayson Overstreet, and last week he came in and put up 50 yards at the end of that game against Apprentice. But he had a long run then, but boy, he just streaked up through that middle.
1st and goal now for the Wasps at the Bridgewater 7. 5:48 to go into the half.
And this drive started at the 6-yard line, Josh.
And has been mostly on the ground. Short in the gun. Jordan to his right. 1st and goal from the 6. They give us to Jordan. Off left tackle. He'll walk into the end zone, and then he takes a hit in the end zone. There's no flag. I'm not sure why.
I don't know why either.
But Jordan in untouched from 6 yards out. Off left tackle. And the Emory offensive line right now, Gary, really doing its job.
Well, and you know, when you start at the 5-yard line, 6-yard line, and you take it 94 yards, you are going to wear down a defense. That's what happened to Bridgewater last week. They got worn down in the second half by Macon, and the Wasps seem to have got that same recipe here today.
Jones out for the PAT. It'll be Short to hold. Snap is down. Jones kick on the way, low line drive, but it goes through. And with 5:31 to go, Gary, 28 unanswered by this Wasp team. They lead at 28-7.
Well, Buzzo's defense has certainly picked up the number, or whatever he's needed to do with this Bridgewater offense. And the offense for the Wasps is clicking. You know, they started one drive at the 9. They moved all the way to the 49 of Bridgewater before they fumbled. the defense comes out and stops them again. They go backward 11 yards, and then they take over at their own 6, and they go 94 yards. So it's not looking good for the Eagles right now and Coach Lim.
Gary, on that third down, important number that was big for Bridgewater last week, not so much this week. They're not doing the job on third down, right?
Boy, they're not. They're 1 of 7, 14%, and and they're 1 for 1 on fourth down. But those third down, but Josh, those third downs have been, long third down. They've not had an easy one.
So the Wasps set to kick again, leading at 28-7. Jones is going to pop it up straight in the air. Fair catch is taken at the 31-yard line.
And that's exactly what you want them to do. You want to force them to take that fair catch and have no return, but it does give it to them at the 31-yard line.
Freddie Watkins taking the fair catch there for the Eagles.
Kyle Short now is 9 for 10, 130 yards passing in the 5 minutes left in the second quarter. And Devontae is at 87 yards on 14 carries, so he's closing in on 100. He's averaging 157 per game.
Eagles start 1st and 10 from their own 32. Lawton will be in the pistol on 1st and 10. Play action. Lawton does have time. Now throws over the middle, wide open in the middle of the field on the passing route, and then diving forward inside the 45, inside the 40 was Tyler Gilliam, wide open on the skinny post, and a big gain strike there down to the Emory 38.
Yeah, he beat Crimes to the inside from that corner position, and plus Lawton had all kinds of time that time.
One of the few times he has.
Yeah.
He hasn't had a lot of time here in the last few drives. That time, good containment there by the offensive line of Bridgewater to give him time. 1st and 10 quickly are the Eagles to the Emory 38. Lawton with trips to the left side. He'll throw on 1st down. Lawton under pressure this time on the deep out, and really a one-handed grab at the 22 by Gilliam, just a little bit too far.
DeAndre Chambliss almost had a sack that time and forced Lawton to throw that ball early, and the receiver he threw it over his head.
2nd and 10 coming up now for the Eagles at the Emory 38. 4:51 to go until the half, and Emory leads at 28-7. Trips to the left side. Single receiver right is Jamil Johnson for the Eagles. 2-back set for Lawton on 2nd and 10. And they're going to try Gillespie's on the counter. Nice run there by Gillespie's. Second effort, he's got a 1st down. Nice run there, cutting across, got away from Butler, and it's a gain of 11 and a 1st down.
Yeah, he just ran over Butler that time. I think Butler was surprised with the Gillespie's that much strength, but he just ran right over him and got a substitution for the Wasp.
TJ Tester in as well.
Yeah, Dalton Wilson coming out.
1st and 10 for the Eagles at the Emory 27. Lawton in the gun with 2 backs. It's going to be a direct snap to the Gillespie's on the Wildcat, and Gillespie's inside the 25 down to the 22. So a direct snap to him in the backfield, gain of 6.
Good stop there by Ivan Phillips that time to recognize that.
We will be under 4 minutes here momentarily for the Eagles, who have it 2nd and about 4, actually about 5 from the Emory 22, and trailing 28-7. The Eagles have got to get points out of this drive. Wasps have scored 28 in a row. Lawton will be in the pistol. They'll move a man in motion as Jenkins. Lawton ready for the snap. Play action. Lawton with time, throws to the end zone. There's a flag that goes down. Pass is incomplete. Deflected by Dalton in the end zone, but there's a flag in the secondary. The intended receiver was Tucker.
I believe the Wasps had their hands on the wide receiver that time.
Tucker there, it was almost like he was double covered there. He made a move out and then up.
I'm just surprised Lawton didn't go up top to Chad Jones, wide receiver up.
It's going to be defensive holding, so before the pass, it will be a hold against Emory and Henry. That will put the Eagles with a 1st down pickup to the Emory 12. 3:42 left in this opening half. Emory and Henry leads at 28-7. Eagles trying to get on the board here just before the half. Eagles still in the huddle here with 18 on the play clock. Now they'll come out. They'll have tight ends to either side, receivers to either side. Third receiver is Jenkins, slot left. Kloosterman goes to the left side on 1st and 10. Robinson Jr. is the deep back. Lawton ready for the snap. The give is to Robinson Jr., who's hit immediately and dropped by Chambliss. He'll lose a yard back to the 13.
I don't know. I don't think Chambliss was even. I don't think they laid a mitt on him that time. It looked like he just came straight at the running back.
No chance for Robinson Jr. there except to fall down. It's a loss of 1, brings up 2nd and 11 for the Eagles at the Emory 13. 3:16 and counting left in the opening half. Trips to the left side. They'll have actually 4 receivers in this formation. Lawton in the gun. Bradley Loader to the back to the right side. Tucker in motion. Lawton drops back, steps up in the pocket, throws short, and the pass is caught. And actually making the tackle at the 11-yard line was T.J. Payne, and he held on for Jenkins there, only a gain of 2. Nice job just to hang on there by Payne. Because if he didn't, he would have been a crossing route for a score.
Big third down right here. Well, Lawton had time for that crossing route to develop, but big third down here for the Wasps. If they can hold them to 3, just 2 minutes, 30 seconds left in the half, be a big boost for the Wasps.
Bunch formation to the right side. Lawton in the gun. It'll be Loader to his right on 3rd and 9. Lawton going to roll right. Under pressure. Throws to the end zone. Wide open in the end zone is a touchdown is Tucker. Someone lost Tucker there. They had 2 receivers in the formation, and Tucker was wide open in the back of the end zone.
Yeah, Lawton getting a little bit of time rolling to his right, and that time the Wasps weren't able to penetrate, but gave Lawton too much time. That crossing routes, they love to run the crossing routes, and they had 2 of them going, and Lawton threw to the deep man in the end zone.
Oh, the Eagles strike back as they needed to do there, and they cut the lead with a PAT in half as it's Hendren out for the PAT, Watkins to hold. Emory's offsides. They'll actually whistle this play dead. And this will be an interesting call up here now.
Last week, Macon jumped off sides on an extra point, and Bridgewater decided to go for it, and they fumbled on the exchange, and that's where they came up to 13 points. So let's see if they go for 2 here.
They're asking Coach Lim if he wants to take the penalty now or on the kickoff. And I think they're going to take the penalty now. It will be half the distance against Emory Henry. They'll put this ball about the 1.5. They'll try again. And at least for now, they're going to just kick the extra point.
Well, I don't understand why you'd take the penalty on the extra point and not the kickoff if you're going to kick. But last week they did the same thing, but they went for 2 and didn't make it.
So Hendren from 19 yards out now for another PAT try. Wasp kind of playing it safe there, and the kick is up and good. So interesting call there, but the kick is good. And the Eagles have cut the lead in half. It's now 28-14 with 2:20 to go until the half.
Well, that time was a nice drive by Bridgewater to move down the field, take some time off the clock, and give their defense a little bit of rest that time. But Bridgewater going 7 plays, 69 yards for the second quarter touchdown.
And you certainly, there's a full half to be played, but I mean that's an important score for Bridgewater.
Oh.
If they don't score, and of course the Wasps get the ball to start the second half, I mean, you're looking at possibility of being 35-7, in the third quarter.
Yeah, you are, and the Wasps would like nothing better than a quick strike right here, right before the half.
Both teams with all 3 allotted timeouts here, and as they've done all game long, Bridgewater with all 11 guys, on the left side of the field, nobody on the right side, and it'll be Hendren set to kick. Back deep for Emory and Henry, it'll be T.J. Tester and D'Angelo Gray. Hendren's kick is a good one. And this ball, actually, no, it's not. I thought it was in the end zone, but boy, that ball hooked, and it's not a good kick.
That looked like a slider to me.
I thought it was going for the end zone with the way Gray reacted, but Gray just kind of ran away and said, this is going to the sideline, and it did.
It looks like a fastball, but actually it was a slider that hooked out of bounds, and Gray wisely let it go. So good field position for the Wasps starting at the 35-yard line. They've got all 3 timeouts and 2 minutes, 20 seconds left, so plenty of time. Yeah,
and they certainly can run their full array of offense here.
Yeah.
It'll be Short in the gun. He'll start things in the gun with Jordan to his right. 3 receivers on 1st and 10 from the 35. Short ready for the snap. They give us to Jordan. Right up the gut, Jordan dives forward before he's crashed down at about the 38-yard line. It'll be a gain of 3 for Jordan, and it looked like it was Aaron Moore there on the stop for the Eagles. And the Eagles will call a timeout here with 2:15 to go until the half.
Well, that's a little bit of a surprise. With them on defense, I would have thought they would want to save those but they must have some confidence in this offense, or defense, to stop the Wasps right here.
So the Eagles burn their first timeout. Wasps still with all 3 of their timeouts. 2:15 to go in the opening half. And again, we want to thank our underwriters for making the broadcast possible.
Yeah, Emory Henry Football is brought to you and with the support of Tumbling Creek Cider Company. They're open daily at the Spring House. It's at 112 Court Street in Northeast Abingdon, and they're online at tumblingcreekcider.com. Tumbling Creek Cider Company, serving the spirit of your community.
Emory Henry Football is underwritten by Snow's Fine Meats and Provisions, locally owned, locally sourced, open Tuesday through Saturday, and online at snowsfinemeats.com, 160 East Main Street, Abingdon.
And we're also brought to you by First Bank and Trust, offering mobile banking, Apple Pay, remote deposits, and much, much more, including free checking.
And we'll get to our other underwriters here after the 2nd down and 7 play coming up for the Wasps. Short will be in the gun. Short's going to keep it on the RPO. Tries to reverse field, and he does. Short's going to get a first down and then out of bounds. Nice play by Short to the 45. Emory Henry Football is underwritten by Food City, the food experts, locally owned and operated for more than 60 years with 130 convenient locations. Food City is proud to support Emory Henry College Football.
And we'll get back to those in just a minute, but we got a first down for the Wasp.
Clock is on the move, under 2 minutes to go. Wasps have it 1st and 10 at their own 45. Again, all 3 timeouts still at their disposal. Short will be in the gun on 1st and 10. Short, the give us to Jordan. Stutter steps, now goes off right tackle. Stood up at about the 49-yard line. It'll be a gain of almost 4 for Jordan.
It looked like Jordan is down by Jordan there. That number 44, Jordan, linebacker, is all over the field.
Yes.
Well, also, Emory Henry Football comes to you from Greco's. They're proud to bring the taste of our home to yours, serving Southwest Virginia and East Tennessee with locations in Abingdon and Johnson City. Menu and more information at Gricos.com. Eat differently at Greco's. And also, I might add, they offer a 10% discount to Emory Henry students and staff.
And finally, we're brought to you by the Bank of Marion and all their hometown community branches throughout the region. The Bank of Marion, the home loan leader.
Well, Josh, we're very fortunate to have these fine sponsors this year, and even more sponsors than we had before, which we're very appreciative of their support.
Absolutely, and they are what make this broadcast possible. So certainly frequent those folks early and often, as they are very, very supportive of this college and of Emory Henry Football and of this broadcast. So it's going to be 2nd and 7. Bridgewater called their second timeout here with 1:36 to go. So the Wasps haven't had to burn any of theirs yet. It's 2nd and 7. Short, the give us to Jordan. Cuts up the middle. Devontae Jordan is into Bridgewater territory at the 49, and we've got another stoppage of play. And does Bridgewater call their final timeout here?
They sure do. Well, they have done what Coach Lim wanted them to do, is stop this Emory offense, but they've burned their timeouts now and coming up with a 3rd down.
So if the Wasps can pick up this 3rd down, they'll have all 3 timeouts at their disposal. If Bridgewater gets the hold here, then I think what you expect Emory and Henry to do here is probably let this clock run out, because the Eagles are out of timeouts here. So if you're Emory, you'd love to. Okay, so they call Emory as the timeout here, not Bridgewater. Okay. So the Eagles have 1 left, Emory with 2.
Okay, that changes things. Well, the Wasps at 3rd and 3 right here got a lot of options. Like I say, they've still got 2 timeouts, 1:31 left. So I look for the quarterback here on some type of keeper on this play.
Boy, the receivers for Emory and Henry there is 8 yards difference off the ball for all 3 receivers. Short on 3rd down to give us to Jordan off right tackle. That was an easy pickup. Got a first down to the 43. That will stop the clock with 1:26 to go.
Bridgewater that time dropped 8, and there were only 3 down linemen, and Tart makes the tackle, number 41, but not before Jordan gets first down.
So the clock is on the move, 1:20 to go in the half. Emory with 2 timeouts, 1st and 10 from the 43. To give us to Jordan, off left tackle, big hole, and he's knocked down at the 37. Nice open field tackle by Aaron Moore, and the Wasps will call their second timeout with 1:20 left in the half.
Yeah, if Aaron Moore hadn't made that stop right there, I think Jordan would be in the end zone right now, but he broke it to the outside, and Moore just was able to get to his feet and bring him down.
So 2nd and 4 coming up here for the Wasps with 1:10 to go at the Bridgewater 37. Both teams now with a timeout left at their disposal.
And that carry by Jordan, that's his 18th of the game, puts him at 102 yards.
So it'll be 2nd and 4 coming up for the Wasps as we come out of the timeout. So Emory Henry wants to get, certainly loves to get points here before the half. And again, the Wasps are going to get the second half kickoff as well. So the Wasps will be in 4 wide out formation here. Short in the gun on 2nd and 4. Short's going to take off and run with it. Tries to get to the outside, does not do so, and he stays in bounds. Nice tackle in bounds by Rosenthal. Clock is on the move. He loses a yard.
They need to ground the ball here, and it's 3rd down. You can't really do that, but I thought he made it out of bounds.
3rd and 5 now for the Wasps at the Bridgewater 38. 48 seconds left in the half. Short in the gun. They give us to Jordan, off left tackle. Tries to get outside, stiff arm. Second effort. He's not going to get the first down. He's out at the 36. Clock is on the move, and it will be a final timeout called for by whom? It will be Bridgewater calling their final timeout with 37 seconds left, and Emory at the 36.
Emory at the 36. Bridgewater has 1 timeout. No, they called that timeout. They have no timeouts.
Right.
4th and 3 here. I would not be surprised to see the Wasps go for this.
Yeah, it's out of Jones's field goal range. It would be 53 from this point.
Yeah.
And really, if you punt the football, you might get 10, 20 yards out of it, and all the Eagles will do is, take a knee if that occurs. This is going to be an interesting call here coming up for both teams.
It really is. This has been an interesting series, both for the defense and offense, and who's the chess match here, who's calling the timeout.
So on 4th down and 3, the Wasps need the 33 of Bridgewater. 37 seconds left in the half. Bunch formation right side, single receiver left is forward. The Wasps will go for it on 4th and 3. Short in the gun with Jordan to his left. Short ready for the snap. Calls for it. Looks right. Has time. Rolls right. Now throws back across his body, and the pass is incomplete. He was looking back shoulder for Griffith. Griffith thought he was held, and there's no call.
No flag.
Wow, looked like the Eagles got a break there.
Oh, they sure did.
Griffith on a back shoulder grab at the 15 looked like he was impeded right there, but it falls incomplete, and the Eagles, with 30 seconds left, will take over at their own 36.
Well, that's just too bad because Gunnar Griffith was coming back to get that back shoulder throw and got interfered with, but there's no flag by the officials. Now with 30 seconds left, Bridgewater with 1 timeout.
No, they have
Done. I'm sorry.
Lawton with 4 wide on 1st and 10. Lawton drops back. Lawton steps up in the pocket, throws short, pass is caught. It's a first down grab at the 50-yard line. Clock will stop with 22 seconds left. The pass is caught by Jenkins. They will start the clock here momentarily. Eagles up here to try to spike the football. And it will start, and they spike the football with 20 seconds left. At midfield.
And Derek Jenkins, wide receiver for the Eagles, is coming out of the game. Looks like he's got one of those wheels got injured a little bit, but here we are, 2nd and 10, 20 seconds left, the 50-yard line.
I think the Eagles will need about 20, 25 more yards here for field goal range. Lawton drops back in midfield. Lawton steps up in the pocket. There's a flag that goes down as well. Lawton rolls. He's got a first down to the 35, and he's pushed out of bounds at the 31 with 10 seconds to go, but a flag is down in the secondary. 9 seconds at the 31. It's just a sideline working against Emory Henry, so that play will count.
Yeah, that play will count, and now they're down to 9 seconds. They've got
Eagles here might try to, with one play, to try to get out of bounds here. They can ill afford to take a sack. They have no timeouts. It would be a 48-yarder from here. And for the season, Hendren's long is 45, so they might want to try to get one more out pattern maybe here to get out of bounds, and then Emory's going to call a timeout. That'll be their second timeout. And it will come with 9 seconds to go to the half. Coach Newsom not really happy at all with the officials.
No, he's not. Well, that interference call, the lack of interference call with Gunnar Griffith up there was kind of ridiculous after the one they called in the end zone, but that was a hold on Dalton Wilson. But this timeout trying to gather that defense a little bit and get them collected and calmed down here.
So with 9 seconds to go, the Eagles, time for one play here, and really they either have to get a first down, stop the clock, or get out of bounds in some way, shape, or fashion, or Lawton may just, if nothing's open, he just throws it in the stands here.
Well, if you can't go deep. If you go deep, you got to go to the end zone.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got to throw it in the end zone if you're going to go deep. So if you're going to try and do a little out route to get out of bounds, surely the Wasps will be on these short receivers.
1st and 10 Eagles at the Emory 31, 9 seconds left into the half. Lawton in the gun, drops back. Lawton looking, throws to the deep out, passes incomplete. That took about 4 seconds. He was looking out there for McLaughlin. Pass falls incomplete, and they'll bring out the field goal unit for a very long field goal coming up.
Yeah, that was a deeper out than I thought they would try to do. That time that was about a 10-yard out.
So this will be a 48-yard try. This will be Hendren's. If he makes it, it'll be his longest of the season. The freshman set to kick. It'll be Watkins to hold from the left hash. Hendren set. Long snap count here. Snap is down. Kick on the way. It's got the distance. And the kick is good. Wow, from 48 out at the half. What a kick by Hendren. And that sends the Eagles in happy. They score 10 late in this first half, and they now trail it 28-17.
Yeah, they were down 28-7, and it looked like they were Wasps getting ready to deliver the knockout punch, and the Eagles rallied to put 10 on the board. It was an 11-point lead now at halftime.
Well, we will send it back to WEHC Studios for extended halftime, and we will return for the second half here between Bridgewater and Emory Henry. At the half, it's Emory Henry 28, Bridgewater 17. You're listening to Emory Henry College Football on 90.7 WEHC, the voice of Southwest Virginia.
Okay, did he find...
WEHC is pleased to announce a new addition to our halftime show, Emory Henry in Sports History. This broadcast is made available through the generous support of Gricos Grill and Cafe, offering fresh, made-from-scratch dishes seasoned with distinct Mediterranean spices. Proud to bring the taste of our home to yours. Serving Southwest Virginia and East Tennessee with locations in Abingdon and Johnson City.
A coaching tree is like a family tree. The people in a family tree are related by blood or by marriage to each other, and the tree crosses the generations. Usually you aren't in a family tree by choice. But in a coaching tree, the people in the tree are related across generations by virtue of having been chosen by one person and having been mentored and trained by that person. At Emory Henry College in the year of our Lord 1981, a head basketball coach was hired. His name was Bob Johnson. He came to a program that had endured 13 losing seasons. When he arrived on campus, no one knew where the basketballs were, literally. He took up residence in the old Martin Brock Gymnasium for the first 6 months he was here, and he also still resides in the annals of Emory and Henry and college basketball history, and in the hearts of all who knew him, especially those in his coaching tree. At one time before his death in August 2009, Bob Johnson had as many Division I head coaches in his coaching tree as Mike Krzyzewski, the legendary head coach at Duke. Several of them have taken their teams to the NCAA tournament. Those in Bob Johnson's coaching tree who have coached at the Division I level include Jimmy Allen, the head coach at the United States Military Academy, the team on which his mentor, Coach Johnson, once played; Jamie and Christian, the head coach at George Washington University; John Kaufman, the head coach at Purdue Fort Wayne University; Nathan Davis, the head coach at Bucknell; and Mike Young, the head basketball coach at Virginia Tech. Paul Russo, a protege of the coaches, was the head coach at Emory Henry for 6 years. Additionally, there are nearly 24 high school coaches, including Bob and Sherry Johnson's son, Casey, assistant coaches, high school and college athletic directors and officials, and 1 NBA assistant coach, Gerald Christian, who are in the Bob Johnson coaching tree. A 1993 Sports Illustrated story about Bob Johnson quotes his players as saying that to reach Emory and Henry, quote, "you drive to the end of the world and hang a left," end quote. Those in his coaching tree might want to say of the lessons they learned from Coach J, paraphrasing Sports Illustrated, by saying that to reach excellence, you drive to the edge of all your effort and then follow Coach J. The testimony from those in his coaching tree about Bob Johnson is replete with words like challenge, strength, leadership, and love. Paul Russo, his immediate successor as head coach, said, "Those of us who played for Coach J will agree that he helped to shape us as people first. I believe he has made me a better coach because he made me a better person." None of them got to stay in the Emory and Henry program as Johnson's assistants for longer than 2 years because he believed they needed to go on from here to learn other things from other people. But in a very real sense, all of them who were under his tutelage have never left it, nor have they lost the lessons he taught them. There's one other word that's used by the men in Bob Johnson's coaching tree: family. If the people in a family tree are related by blood and by love, then Bob Johnson's coaching tree is also a family tree in the truest sense. This has Been Emory and Henry in Sports History, brought to you by WEHC FM 90.7, your college and community station powered by the sun. I'm your host, David St. Clair. Stay tuned, please, for the second half of the game.
sorry that we're having some technical difficulty. We apologize to our listeners, but the Wasps are on the move at the 42-yard line of Bridgewater, the 1st and 10. Kyle Short and the signals. We've got twins to the left, single on the right. Pass to Cozy in the flat, and he'll take it up to the 37-yard line. It's going to make it about 2nd and 6 for the Wasps on this initial drive of the second half. The Wasps took a 28-17 lead into the locker room after Bridgewater scored 10 unanswered points to make it 28-17. Short now barking signals twins to the top on the right side. Singles on the bottom. Short keep is on the keep, and he gets about 2 yards after faking the run to Devontae Jordan. It's going to bring up 3rd and 3 with 12:50 left in this initial quarter of the second half. Kyle Short getting in the signals from offense coordinator B Camp, and we've got twins on the right, single receiver on the left, Jordan in the shotgun position. Here's that little screen pass out to Cozy in the flat. He almost scored on in the first half, and he gets enough for a first down to the Eagles' 27-yard line. Nice pass by Short. Cozy made something out of nothing. So it makes it 1st and 10 on the Eagles' 27 on this initial drive of the second half for the Wasps. Short again, shotgun with Jordan. Twins to the left, single at the right. The same little screen pass to Cozy out in the flat. Jermaine Ford getting the key block there. It's going to get about 5 yards on that pass play and making it, it's going to bring up 2nd and about 5. And there is a flag on the play. Referee's having a little conference trying to figure out what it is. That's going to be a personal foul for a late hit on the Eagles after the tackle is made out of bounds. It's going to take the ball down inside the 20-yard line to about the 10 or 11-yard line. Looks like the 11-yard line. So the Wasps are in the red zone again, where they've been very effective all season long. In this initial drive coming out of the locker room, looking pretty good for the Wasps at this time. Oh, those passes behind Gunnar Griffith into the end zone. Looked like it almost might be intercepted, but it's Kyle Short threw that ball high and behind Gunnar Griffith, and no one could get to it. Incomplete pass, bringing up 2nd and 10 at the 11-yard line. So the Wasps can get a first down at the 1-yard line. Wasps are in shotgun position with twins to the right. Single receiver on the left, under press coverage. There's the snap. A vertical to Jermaine Ford. He almost pulled that in the very corner end zone, but he stepped out of bounds before he caught the pass, and then he dropped it. So bring up 3rd and 10. For the Wasps at the 11-yard line. And I think we've got it. And the flag on that plays interference on Jermaine Ford on the Wasps. It's offensive pass interference. That's going to back the ball up. It's going to remain 2nd down, but it's going to back the ball up to the 25-yard, 26-yard line. So it's going to give them a 3rd and 24, 25 yards, call it 24. Again, the Wasps are in the shotgun position. We've got twins to the right, single receiver on the right side. Kyle Short's having the play signaled in to him. There's a give to Jordan on the left side, and he goes for about 6 yards before being brought down by Tarp and Jordan, the linebackers we've talked about at the opening of the broadcast. They have been all over the field. It's going to bring up 3rd and 19. We've got twin receivers on each side. Jordan in the shotgun position. Look to get a little bit of a gain right here, and so we might be able to kick a field goal. But getting this first down may be a difficult task at 3rd and 19. And Short finding no one open. He just airmails that one out of the back of the end zone. So the Wasps will bring out their kicking unit, try to pick up the 3 points on this initial drive with a field goal. Cameron Jones has been very effective at this distance so far, and will look to make the Wasps lead 14 with the field goal kick from the 27-yard line, so it'll make it a 37-yard boot. There's the snap. The kick is up and no good. It's wide to the right. Well, the score remains 28-17 with 10 minutes and 35 seconds left in this third quarter. Let's see if the Emory Henry defense can come back. In that first half, the initial drive by the Eagles went for a touchdown, but then the Wasps kind of tightened the screws a little bit and forced the Eagles into 2 interceptions and 3 punts, but then the Eagles came back and put up 10 unanswered points to make it 28-17 at the half. Incomplete pass to Gilleps. He comes around that right side and tackled by 𝙨𝙖𝙧, but the ball falls to incomplete, so that'll bring up 2nd and 10 at the 20-yard line for the Eagles, their own 20-yard line. TJ Tester enters the game for TJ Payne. Eagles go with single receivers on both sides, 2 backs in the backfield. And the give is to Gilleps, and he is swarmed under for a loss. Chambliss making another tackle for a loss. It's going to bring up a long 3rd down for the Eagles. It's going to be about 3rd and 13 from their own 17-yard line. So the Wasps defense kind of doing what they started, giving them long 3rd down conversions. Eagles in the shotgun, 2 receivers on the left side, single on the right. Gilleps is going around the left end, and he's swarmed under. There is nowhere to run there. Another fine effort by that defensive front for the So the Eagles looked like they looked a little bit in that first quarter. It is 4th and 12 at the 18-yard line. They have averaged 50 yards on 3 punts. He said we were.
We apologize for the delay, folks. Some technical difficulties on our end as well. But yeah, it looks like the Wasps had a chance there to get another one in there in the third quarter. Just couldn't get it done.
Yeah, they've had a nice drive there. Ended up missing that field goal. But so that time the defense held them to 3 and out. They punt, not nearly as good as they had in the past, so we come up with a 1st and 10 at the 43-yard line of the Wasp. Give us
the Jordan on the left side, first down and more, and Deontay Jordan still going, and dives forward inside the 30 to the 35 to the 30.
We are still experiencing technical difficulties at the field. Josh Wade and Gary Lester are working hard to try and get it resolved. I will keep you informed.
Jordan again gets the handoff, goes off right tackle down to the 27. Coming up 2nd down and 7 coming up. So 2nd and 7 for the Wasps at the Bridgewater 27.
Got an injured Wasp on the play. So we have an official timeout on the field. 8:32 left in this 3rd quarter. The Wasps moving the ball again. They got a 2nd and 7 at the 27-yard line of Bridgewater.
And, how important that was, Gary, to, come out of the half, and it looks like Emory Henry's getting ready to score. They're not successful, and a good job of that defense to still step up and to get the ball right back to the offense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the defense, I'm sure Coach Buzzo at halftime was talking about what they needed to do to quell this Eagles offense that really got going in that after 2 interceptions and 3 punts, they come back on the field, and the Wasps shut them down with 3 and out, and actually they lose 3 yards. So number 79 for the Wasps is Ricky Dobson out of Front Royal, Virginia, is the injured Wasp as he's coming off the field.
Dobson coming out under his own power.
Yeah.
Will come out, and it'll be 2nd down and 7 for the Wasp, ball at the 27. And it'll be trips to the right side, single receiver left. And it'll be Short in the gun. Jordan to his left in the gun. 3 receiver set. Short throws out in the flat, pump fake. Pump fake again, going to the corner of the end zone, and Griffith slips. Griffith got tied up there with the defensive back and Connor Jordan. Their legs tangled at about the 2-yard line.
Yeah, and that's not interference. That's just two athletes running into each other down the field. They both got a right to anywhere on the field or to the ball, so they just ran into each other. No flag on the play, bringing up 3rd down for the Wasps.
Yellow back on.
7 for Emory Henry. Ball is rested at the Bridgewater 27, 8:14 to go in this 3rd quarter. It's 28-17. No score here halfway through the 3rd quarter. Wasps have had the ball for the majority of this 3rd quarter. Short with play action, now he'll roll left. He's going to take off and run with it. Gets to the
We are now rejoining Josh Wade and Gary Lester at the end.
Short gets out of bounds at about the 23. It'll bring up 4th and 3.
Well, and he had Jermaine Ford open, but Short got forced out of the pocket and couldn't set his feet to make that throw, and it's kind of having to throw across your body if you're coming to that side of the field.
Wasps will go for it here on 4th down and 3 at the 23. Short in the pistol with 3 wide. Jordan is the deep back on 4th down and 3. And they'll go to the gun here on 4th and 3. Late give to Jordan out the left tackle. 2nd effort, he's got the 1st down. Nice cutback to get the 1st down inside the 20, down to the 16.
Good read that time by Kyle Jordan. I thought he was going to pull the ball and take it himself, but he leaves it in to his running back, Jordan, who takes it around that left side for a 1st down on 2nd effort. You're right, Josh, it was 2nd effort.
Yeah, definitely. The initial one was not there, but 2nd effort gets the Wasps a fresh set of downs now to the Bridgewater 17. We appreciate you all dealing with us while we've got technical difficulties here in the booth. It's 1st and 10 for Emory at the Bridgewater 17. Short in the gun, all 3 receivers to the right. Late getting up, Short's going to keep it, now he's going to throw it. Oh, it's too high to Cozy, and that ball, was it backwards? No, this is going to be, no, they're going to say it was a lateral, and Cozy has to go get it back at the 25. I thought that pass went forward.
Oh, I think it went forward, too. It's too bad we don't have instant replay where we can see where Short's feet were when he threw the ball.
The officials are talking about this is a big play because this would be an 8-yard loss, but it is incomplete.
Yep.
Right call there because Cozy was about a yard in front of the pass.
Yeah, and Kyle Short was trying to make that look like a run, and then he's supposed to raise up and throw it to Cozy. And you just, when you've got that much momentum running, then what happens is sometimes you put too much mustard on that ball, and he just overthrew Cozy. And, of course, Cozy at 5'4", that's not hard to do either.
So 2nd and 10 now for the Wasps at the Bridgewater 17. It'll be Short in the gun with 3 wide. 7:02 to go, third quarter. They give us to Jordan off left tackle, trying to find a hole. Gets away from the 10. Jordan at the 5. Jordan in the end zone for the touchdown. Oh, second effort, third effort, but there is a flag down.
A flag, and this could go against the Wasps. And maybe after the play, though, Josh, not sure. It looks like number 52, Marvant.
Nope, it's during the play, unfortunately. It's a hold against Emory.
Yeah.
So take off the points for Emory and Henry. Great run by Jordan. He just bounced it outside. But as he was bouncing outside, very easy for a lineman to do is to reach.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing they got a reach there.
Well, this is second drive. The last drive, they got down to the 11-yard line and had an offensive interference call that pushed them back to 26, and it killed that drive. Now they're back to the
17, back to the original line of scrimmage. So second and they've got second. It's got it listed at the 17, so we'll go from there. 2nd 10 from the Bridgewater 17. 3 receivers in the formation. Short in the gun. Jordan to his right. Short throws short. Pass is called by Cozy. Cozy breaks one tackle inside the 5, and it's 1st and goal.
1st and 10 on second effort by Cozy. After he got hit, he spun and was able to get a few more yards for that first down. Gunnar Griffith's wide open in the corner of the defense. Short just chose to go to Cozy.
1st and goal quickly for Emory Henry at the 4. To give us to Jordan off right tackle, diving forward, second effort, and he's down. He's got about half of it, just outside the 1. Well, he threaded that needle to Cozy. That was a man under and a man over.
Yeah,
Cozy got it.
He had Gunnar Griffith in the corner. I don't know if he just didn't see him or just thought he would take Cozy, the shorter, maybe the safer play.
2nd and goal for Emory. Our nose of the football at the 1. And I think you might see number 23.
Yeah, either 3 or 7. I think you're going to see one of those two carry it in if it goes in.
Short on 2nd and goal. Short stumbled, now dives forward, and he may have lost a half yard. He's back to the 2.
That time the Eagles were up in that bare front. They had every gap covered. They were bringing both those linebackers, Topley and Jordan.
So 3rd and goal now from the 2, Gary, so it's a little bit different situation now.
Yeah.
I still think you look for the run here, and, certainly you'd love to get it on the run, but you got single coverage on either side of the field with Ford and Griffith. Short ready for the snap.
There
Gives
you
it
go,
to Jordan. Tries left side. Now gets outside again. Oh, what a run again by Jordan. There was nothing there. He bounces it outside, and he's in for the touchdown.
Absolutely a mass of humanity on the inside there, and Jordan just keeps bouncing until he finds an opening and goes around that left side for an Emory Henry touchdown, making it 34-17. Josh, nice drive by the Wasps. That's 2 straight drives in this third quarter. They've gone down the field. They shot themselves in the foot on that first one, but they hit pay dirt on this one.
And Jones out for the PAT. And more importantly, this gets the lead out with a PAT. This definitely with that touchdown and the PAT forthcoming. And here it comes as the snap is down and the kick on the way by Jones is good. Makes it a 3-score game now. And not only is it 3 scores, but it's 3 difficult scores for Emory Henry. So with 5:26 to go in the third quarter, it's 35-17 Emory and Henry.
Well, Jordan has padded his average. He's averaging 157 yards per game right now after 30 carries. Jordan is up to 189 yards on the day. Again, up above that. He's headed for that 200 mark again.
Absolutely, and the Wasps, most importantly, they don't let Bridgewater, at least at the time being, get within one possession. The defense does its job, And the Wasps score in, and Devontae Jordan just showing the speed. That's such a difficult move to do when you bounce it outside. You have to have the speed, and you've got to be able to get around the corner at an angle. And well, it's tough to do.
You have to be a strong person, too, because you're getting hit about 3 times. You're keeping your balance, and you're keeping your legs moving, and Jordan that time showed why he's averaging 57 yards a game, and why he's also 6th in the nation in rushing with 472 yards. But today, he's, like I said, he's already at 189 on 30 carries, and we're 5 minutes, 26 seconds left in third.
Wasps lead it now 35-17, and Jones is set to kick. Wasp doing the job on the ground today. Jones' kick. Deep kick, but Tucker will take it at his 10. On the sideline, almost stepped out of bounds. Gets it to the 20. Gets away to run tackle. Gets up to the 25. Still diving, and a good return by Tucker. Dangerous return, but he gets it up to the 30-yard line.
Boy, he was, I'm telling you, he wasn't an inch from being out of bounds that time down in the corner. But, yeah, that's what the Wasps trying to do. They're either going to pooch kick it and hope you'll fair catch, or they kick it deep into the corner.
Yeah, and Gary, 3rd and 4th down conversions for Emory Henry, pretty doggone good today, are they?
Yeah, they have been. Absolutely. The Wasps are at 60%, 6 of 10 on 3rd downs, while the Eagles are 2 of 9, or 22%. The Wasps have rolled up 422 yards already in this contest.
Lawton in the gun on 1st and 10 from the 30. They'll put Jones in motion to the left. Gillespie's is the back to the left. Lawton will throw. Lawton under pressure, hit as he throws, and he passes dropped at the 39. Boy, Lawton took a shot from Chambliss, and he is very, very slow to get up.
Yeah, he certainly did take a shot. And, you know, as Coach Lim said, he took a lot of shots last week. Mm-hmm. He is a bruised-up quarterback for sure. And I'm not sure. I think they're going to make him come out of the game.
Yeah, Kenneth McCray, the backup, the senior out of Raleigh, grabbed his helmet as soon as Lawton hit the ground, and the senior is very much shaken up. Chambliss there right as he delivered that football. It was a clean hit, and Chambliss sort of backed off after he went through the hit, so it did not result in a roughing penalty.
Josh, the Watts defense on the first half, it's just they gave up 17 points, but at one point in the game they had held the Eagles to just 64 yards of total offense in that first half. That was when it was 28-7, and the Eagles came on with 102 yards of offense and scored 10 points.
So McCray, the senior, in to replace Lawton here on 2nd down. He's in the gun. He'll have Gillespie to his left, 2 tight ends set to the right side, single receivers to either side. McCray's going to keep it. He's going to try the right side. He's not going to go anywhere. Ivan Phillips will drop McCray for a 6-yard loss.
Well, you try to call a play that your quarterback can get the jitters out and maybe get hit, because once you do that, that's kind of what happens. But you're not going to run around Ivan Phillips.
Brings up 3rd and 16 now for the Eagles, back at the 24.
Right now, 3rd and 16. The Eagles are minus 9 yards of offense for the second half.
It's a tough play for the senior to come in here on backup on 3rd and 16. He'll have 3 receivers. They'll move a man in motion as McLaughlin. McCray ready for the snap. He'll throw. McCray with time, looks around the right sideline, left sideline I should say. He had a receiver about a step ahead of ahead of Crimes was Johnson, but he overshoots him.
Well, that's McCray, you asked him to come in against this defense, and then to make a long throw like that and expect him to have the touch on that ball, it's just not there.
So it'll force another punt, and the Wasps ready to get the football back again. So 2 gunners out to the right side for Bridgewater on 4th and 16. And it will be Graves getting it away. Line drive kick away from Gray. Gray's going to let that ball go out of bounds at about the 31. So it is a 45-yard punt, no return, and with 4:13 to go in the 3rd quarter, Emory on front 35-17.
And they'll get the ball for the 3rd time in this 3rd quarter. They have eaten up a lot of clock in this initial frame of the second half. Let's see if they can continue chewing up yardage. Jordan, like I say, 30 carries at 189 yards on the day, looking to go over 200, and Short at 177 yards passing with 14 of 21.
Very efficient day for Short. First and 10, Wasp, they're on 31. 3 receivers in the formation for Short, who's in the gun. It's going to be the delay, actually the draw to Jordan on the misdirection there up to the 35 to the 36. So it'll be a gain of about 5. Gain of 5 brings up second down and 5. Second and 5 from the 36. 3 receivers set. It'll be Short in the gun. It'll be Jordan to his right. Under 4 minutes to go, third quarter.
Okay.
It'll be Jordan stiff arm, gets outside of the 40, flag though behind the play. And meanwhile, there's a Bridgewater player without his helmet. That may have been the reason for the flag.
Well, I'm not sure. I think maybe it's going to get a hold again on the Wasps here. As you said earlier, when you bounce it outside there, you're trying to spread out that, you get away. Sometimes one of those paws comes out and grabs hold of the opposite color jersey.
It will be a hold. And the Wasps will have that first down play taken off. It will be against Marvin Newton, the sophomore out of Calais, Virginia. Get to it the hold.
Yeah, that's Marvin Newton's second hold.
Eagles would have had it at 3rd and 2. They'll wisely take the penalty here and back up Emory to their own 29. Brings up 2nd and 12 for the Wasps at their own 29. 3:34 left in this third quarter. Emory up 35-17. Clock will run. And like in the first half, you'd love to see Emory chew up some clock here and get some yardage on the ground. And Short will try that right up the middle. Short's got an entryway in the midfield, and he's in the Bridgewater territory. Loses his helmet as well. Down to the 46-yard line. That is a gain of 25.
Well, there's that quarterback keeper right up, straight up the gut, because you fake the handoff to Jordan, and you know those 2 linebackers are going to go with Jordan's. Short pulls it and goes for a first down gain.
Everett will come into the game to replace Short here. Short lost his helmet as he was diving forward.
I bet this will certainly be a handoff to Jordan.
Everett gets the handoff. Nope, it's given to English. English dives forward, off for 1 tackle, and English bounces down to the 42. It's a gain of 4.
Yeah, Micah English in for Devontae Jordan.
And for the second straight week, this Emory Henry rushing attack has just been relentless right now.
It really has. They have either second effort bouncing outside, or there's been some gaping holes in the middle.
2nd and 7, actually 2nd and 6 for the Wasps at the Bridgewater 42. English on the misdirection, goes off right tackle, dives forward, trying to get the first down, and he's right at it. He may be just short, just inside the 37.
Well,
we've got another player losing their helmet.
Well,
that's Newton.
It's Newton again.
Newton will be replaced by Dotson, who's back in. And meanwhile, actually going to give Emory the first down. No measurement there, Garrett. Thank you very much.
The Wasps have rolled up 282 yards of rushing offense so far today. They're on course to go over 300. Last week it was 394.
First and 10 for Emory now at the Bridgewater 36. We're approaching 2 minutes left in this third quarter. Emory up 18. Short in the gun with Jordan to his right. Jordan gets the handoff. Tries to go forward. Boy, hits the first man forward. And then wrestling him down was Jordan.
Yeah.
Jordan is a very, very good tackler. Drops Jordan for a yard gain at the 30. I'll give him 2 at the 34.
Well, it makes it easy when Jordan takes Jordan down.
Yes. But again, positive yardage for the Wasps. There are very few negative plays today for Emory. 2nd and 8 now for the Wasps at the Bridgewater 34. 90 seconds and counting left in this third quarter.
And English back in for Devontae Jordan.
Short in the gun. And he'll play action. Short has time. Throws over the middle. Gunnar Griffith caught that with interference. Here comes the flag. Sean Harris was blanketing him, and Gunnar Griffith still made the grab at the 21.
And then I think they're going to call a hold instead of interference.
Gunnar Griffin was being pulled the whole time, and he somehow made that catch.
He looked like he had an overcoat on. So I don't know if you take the penalty here. I don't know if it's from the spot of the foul.
Boy, this is a long call.
Yeah. And they're coming over.
What are they going to call? Ineligible and no interference? Okay, there's the hold. So there was 2 flags on the play, so they offset. So Emory had an ineligible player downfield, so that takes away the first down pass.
Oh.
And offensive line getting a lot of penalties right now in this third quarter. That's a great catch by Griffith.
That's 3 penalties in this third quarter on the offensive line. Coach Wellenhofer will not be a happy camper when they're in film session.
They'll wind the clock, so we will be at about a minute when Shorts snaps his football on 2nd and 8, a minute and 9 to be exact and counting, from the 34 of Bridgewater. Short gives it to English, right up the gut to the 30. Michael English dives forward to the 29. He gets about 5 on the play. It's going to bring up 3rd and 3.
Micah English is certainly he's coming out, but Coach Newsom talked about him in his high school days, what a prolific runner he was.
3rd and 3 for the Wasps as it's 43 seconds left in this third quarter, 23 on the play clock. They need the Bridgewater 26 for a first down. Short in the gun with 3 receivers. Jordan to his right. Blitz coming. To give us to Jordan, he had no chance. He is dropped by Brett Tharp. And that was an all-out blitz there by Bridgewater. He'll lose a yard back to the 30.
Well, it's going to bring up 4th down, and you're kind of, as we've said before, in no man's land here. It's too far for a field goal, pretty short for a punt. So let's see if the Wasps don't try to draw them off sides here with a long count.
And we will do so here at the end of the third quarter. We've reached the end of 3 here at Fred Self Athletic Stadium's Nice Wonder Field with the score. It's Emory Henry 35 and Bridgewater 7. Again, we want to thank our underwriters for making our broadcast possible.
Yeah, Emory Henry Football is brought to you with the support of Tumbling Creek Cider Company. They're open daily in the Spring House at 112 Court Street, Northeast Abingdon, and they're online at tumblingcreekcider.com. Tumbling Creek Cider Company, serving the spirit of our community.
And Emory Henry Football is underwritten by Snow's Fine Meats and Provisions, open Tuesday through Saturday and online at Snow's Fine Meats, 160 East Main Street, Abingdon.
And we're brought to you with the support of First Bank and Trust, offering mobile banking, Apple Pay, remote deposits, and much, much more. They've been serving the community with free checking since 1979. They're a member of the FDIC, and you can visit them on the web at firstbank.com.
And Emory Henry Football is underwritten by Food City, the food experts, locally owned and operated for more than 60 years with 130 convenient locations. Food City is proud to support Emory Henry College Football.
And support for Emory Henry College Football comes from Greco's, proud to bring the taste of our home to yours, serving Southwest Virginia and East Tennessee with locations in Abingdon and Johnson City. Menu and more information at Gricos.com. Eat differently at Gricos.
And finally, we're brought to you by the Bank of Marion and all their hometown community branches throughout the region. The Bank of Marion, the home loan leader. It's 4th down and 4, and the Wasps will go for it from the Bridgewater 30. They'll try the counter to Jordan off left side. He didn't get it.
No.
Nowhere close. As Bridgewater stops that, Alexander Cromwell there makes the stop, and Bridgewater needed that as they'll take over on downs at the 28 with 14:55 left in this one, trailing by 18.
Well, another nice time-consuming drive. The Wasps had that football in the third quarter, almost 12 minutes, so they chewed up a lot of the clock. And, that takes its toll on a defense when you're out there that long.
It does, and the Eagles here, with 14:55 left in this one, down 3 scores, and Lawton has not returned since going out being hit on that last series. It'll be McCray again in the game. Robinson Jr. to his left on 1st and 10 from the 28. Play action from McCray. He's got time. Deep left sideline. That ball is underthrown, but a pass is caught. Coming back and getting it was Tucker, who did the great thing by looking up and came back to it at the 39 of Emory.
Yeah, that was a wounded duck by McCray, and it didn't have anything on it to get to the receiver, and he came back, and Dalton Wilson couldn't find the football.
Big pickup there for the Eagles. They have it in Emory territory at the 39. Trips to the right side for McCray, who's in the gun. Robinson Jr. to his right. McCray, and well, they thought there was movement. No, and that finally
there's a flag.
We didn't know if it would happen in the beginning, but it finally did.
I think the white hat was waiting on that flag because he was already ready to call it. It's kind of an obvious movement there by the Eagles.
Rashid Ellis jumping up and down saying he moved. So it's 1st and 15 now for the Eagles back at the Emory 44. McCray will be in the gun. Robinson Jr. to his right. They'll put Jones in motion to the right. McCray drops back. McCray has time, all kinds of time. Now he's going to take off and run with it. McCray is tackled behind, actually gets forward. It'll be a forward gain to the 42, but he's converged on by Phillips.
Yeah, Phillips, along with that DeAndre Shambles.
You're correct. That is correct.
Yeah, McCray, he took a lick right there.
2nd down and 13 for the Eagles at the Emory 42. It'll be trips to the right side. 2 backs in the formation with McCray on 2nd and 12. McCray will throw again. Goes to the deep out. The pass is diving and nearly a nice grab out there at the 21 by Jones. He had gone out and beaten Payne, just couldn't come up with it.
Yeah, he ran that flag route to the corner and he'd beaten Payne, but the ball was overthrown. And McCray has got an arm, but this one pass that he completed was like a wounded duck, but now that one had some zip on it.
Brings up 3rd down and 13 for the Eagles, who are certainly in 4-down territory here, down 18. Receivers to either side. McCray will be in the gun with Robinson Jr. to his right. One receiver to the left side. There's a slot receiver as well. Play action from McCray. Has time. Looks for that same pattern. The pass is knocked away. Jalen Crimes is beat. Here comes a flag behind the play at the line of scrimmage.
And this was after the play, but Crimes, great job of getting an arm in there and knocking the ball away because it was going to be a completion. It looks like they're pointing towards the white team.
Tucker there almost grabbed it at the 16, but it was knocked away by Crimes. That flag came in from the back judge out of the way. It's going to be a personal foul against the Eagles. So this is going to be after the play, Gary. This will be 4th down.
So it's going to make it 4th.
And a mile.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey, we've had more penalties in this half, way more than first half, but in this in the third quarter and just the first 2 minutes of the fourth quarter, we've had more penalties than in the whole game.
Uncharacteristic there for the Eagles to see so many penalties. They're like Macon. You don't get many penalties out of the Eagles.
Well,
you've
got 10 seniors and some of them fifth-year seniors out there. They're experienced.
So it is 4th and 28, and the Eagles will punt now. And Graves set to kick it away. He's had a good game for the Eagles. Snap to Graves is good. No rush. Boy, and another good kick. Gray will signal for the fair catch at about the 16-yard line. So that's a punt of 41, no return.
There's another flag.
Another flag comes in after the play. Boy, this is getting a little chippy right now.
Yeah, there's Dalton Wilson involved in that, and Dominic Wynn from the freshman for the Eagles. See where this one's going. Well, it may be offsetting, Josh, but this would certainly help the Wasps get out of inside that 20-yard line.
13:23 to go. It's 35-17 coming up. It's actually going to go against the Eagles, Gary.
Well,
so this is going to move the football 15 back-to-back personal fouls against Bridgewater, losing their composure here a little bit.
Well, and you see Coach Lim has number 31 Wynn off to the side over there talking to him. It's not what you need. You got them inside. Your punter puts them inside the 20, and you get a personal foul. Now they're sitting at the 32-yard line.
So it's 1st and 10 Wasps now at the 32. 13:23 left in this one. Emory up 35-17. Short in the gun. He'll have one back to his left on 1st and 10. Short's going to keep it on the RPO, stutter steps, and then dives forward for maybe a couple of yards. That brings up 2nd and 8.
Good play. Let them know that we still want to use the quarterback to run the ball, and that'll take some of the pressure off of Jordan.
And again, you'd love to see this Wasp offense just chew up clock on the ground, which they've done for most of the game.
Yeah, they're now at 475 yards total offense.
2nd and 8 now for the Wasps at their own 34. Short, letting that play clock run down. They give us to Jordan. No, play action. Short throws over the middle. Nearly a one-handed grab by Griffith. Nice coverage over the middle there by Rosenthal, making that a tough angle at the 40.
Well, I think Gunnar Griffith got held on that. They just didn't call it, but nice job by Short of staying in the pocket, waiting, letting Gunnar Griffith get open. But when he gets held like it's just so hard to complete that pass.
Griffith's been held and tugged all day, It seems like, out there. He's got the 16 now adjusted, but he's been involved in a lot of those contacts. 3rd and 8 for Emory at their own 34. 4 wide do the Wasps go on this session. And it will be Jordan showing blitz. He blitzes. Short under pressure, and he's going to go down. Bridgewater gets to him with 3 down linemen and Jordan, and he'll be dropped on the play, sacked by Tucker Harris back at the 26.
Yeah, Kyle Short, first-year quarterback, needs to just heave that one, let it go, and not get a sack. That kind of negated that personal foul that they got and moved them back. Now they're at the 26, 25-yard line.
And Morgan will be set to kick. Robert Barlow Jr. is standing at his own 35 for Bridgewater. Bridgewater with 10 men up on the line. They're coming after it. Snap to Morgan is good. And a good job to get it away. Nice kick. Fair catch signal for by Barlow Jr. And he gets it on his shoulder at about the 35-yard line. That is a 39-yard kick. Well done by Morgan. No return.
Yeah, well done, Garrett Morgan. Get that ball spiral and it turns over, and there's no way he can return it. That ball almost popped out. But now the Wasps with 11:54 coming in, they have held the Eagles to very little yardage in this second half. The defense has really come out in this second half.
1st and 10 for the Bridgewater Eagles at their own 35. 11:54 to go, and the Eagles trailing 35-17. McCray again in for his 3rd series. He replaces Lawton, who got hurt earlier in the 3rd. They give us to Gillespies. We haven't heard much from Gillespies since the 2nd quarter, and Gillespies, boy, making his presence felt, just takes the pile with him, and he's got a 1st down up to the 47. Gillespies with a Gillespies-esque run, if you want to say that, 8 of 12.
That was probably his highlight run there, but they hit him high, and he keeps those legs churning, and then the offensive line got behind him, started pushing him, so.
And Dalton Wilson, the Eagles tried to run hurry up. Dalton Wilson a little slow to get up on the play, and he'll be attended to by the staff here, athletic training staff.
Dalton was injured earlier, and he went out and came back in, so they're looking at his leg there. But Gillespies, you just can't hit him high. You've got to take his legs out from under him if you're going to get him down.
Yeah. One final score to report from the SAC today. UVA Wise with a 33-7 win over Carson Newman. Gary, when's the last time Carson Newman's been 0-3?
0-3. And let me tell you something. The Eagles of Carson Newman of Mossy Creek, they don't like being 0-3. It's been a while. Josh, they were picked, I think, 13th in the nation in Division II before the season started. And they've gone 0-3. They lost to Wingate the week before, which Wingate is pretty good, but then they lost to West Georgia in the opening week of the season.
Also, Newberry 21-6 over Tusculum, the other afternoon game. Dalton Wilson's okay. We'll start it again at 1st and 10 from the 47. McCray will throw with a 3-down line in front. He's going to heave it down the left sideline. A lot of contact down there, and the catch is made out of bounds by Deontay Tucker. And Tucker is slow to get up as well. I think he landed on the ball.
Yeah, I think he got the wind knocked out of him perhaps. But McCray launching the ball about 50 yards. He had time to make that throw. And it's just, hate to see the young man go down like that. But he made a good catch. He's just out of bounds.
Tucker, who was the Rookie of the Year 2 years ago for this Eagle team, and the Eagles, we talk about their linebacking core, but you always talk about they always have one or two guys that can take it. They've got very, very quick guys on the outside, and Tucker has been the guy to try to get those go routes today.
Yeah. You're talking about the sack. 5 games this week, 2 of them in the afternoon, but 3 of them at night, Josh. And that may be something that's going to be a little bit different for the Wasps next year as we enter into the SAC. I mean, they seem to like to play at night. They've got a 6 o'clock game and then 2 7 o'clock games. And
also noon is a popular time as well. So it'll be interesting to see, how the games turn out, and some of the games have happened on Thursday.
I was going to say, and they like Thursday nights, but a big one, Mars Hill at Lenore Ryan tonight at 6 o'clock.
So Tucker jogging off on his own power. That's good to see.
Got to let him get off here.
Now he's off the field here on 2nd and 10 with 11:21 to go in this one. That's a 35-17 Emory lead. McCray will be in the gun. He'll have one back to his left. That's Gillespie's. 3 receivers. McCray, late give to Gillespie's. Spin move, gets away from 2 men. Diving forward, boy, what a run by Gillespie's. He gets away from Penix. You can't say that a whole lot.
No,
it's down to the 46.
You can't, and you really have to wrap him up. You cannot just lay a lick on him, expect him to go down. Bring it 3rd and short now.
Bridgewater quickly to the line here on 3rd and 3. Low snap. McCray going to roll right. He's got time. Now McCray runs out of time, and the pass is caught, but then taking a hit at the 32, and this is going to be targeting possibly on Emory and Henry, as holding on to the football was Jones.
He hit him with the Emory linebacker hit him with his shoulder. So I don't know how they can call targeting on that.
It definitely was not a late hit. Jones was turning around. Flag came out. That's the only possibility, but you're right.
That was not helmet to helmet. That was a shoulder pad that Brent Butler hit him with.
There's no flag. Correct call.
Good. Somebody saw that.
Yeah, and it was a good hit. Clean hit, but a good job by Jones to hang on to it.
Yeah, Jones will have some cobwebs after that one, but that was with Brent Butler's shoulder.
So it's a first down pickup for the Eagles to the Emory 32. 10:45 to go. 35-17, Emory leads it. McCray in the pistol, and he'll play action out of it. Hit as he throws, and the pass is caught. Great grab in front of Crimes. That's Tyler Gilliam. He's got a first down to the 17.
And Swagenheimer had McCray by the leg when he threw the ball, almost a sack.
So nice pass there. Gilliam comes back across the field to make the grab. 1st and 10 pickup down to the Emory 17. McCray in the gun with 3 wide. McCray to throw again. He's going for the corner of the end zone. The pass is incomplete. Almost looked like it went through the hands of the intended receiver out there. I believe it was Jenkins. Nice coverage out there by Butler.
Well, I believe the favorite pattern by McCray is the verticals. Would you not say? I mean, how many has he thrown since he's come into the game?
At least 3 or 4.
Yeah, I mean, he likes to launch them.
And boy, he's showing his arm strength. He had that one rough pass, but everything else looked pretty crisp. He'll go to the gun here on 2nd and 10 from the Emory 17. Gillespie's to the left side. They'll move Klusterman in tight end in motion to the left. They give us to Gillespie's right up the gut, gets off of 1 tackle, can't get away from 2 more tacklers.
That's much better by the Wasps that time with Gillespie's.
Gain of 2. It'll bring up 3rd down and about 8 for the Eagles, as we will be under 10 minutes left in this one. Emory leading at 35-17. And pretty soon the Eagles are not going to have to, they won't be able to kick field goals. They're going to have to go for touchdowns. 3rd and 8 coming up. McCray will be in the gun. Gillespie's to his right. Emory with 4 down linemen. They'll move Jones in motion across the field. McCray drops back. McCray with time. Now under pressure. McCray's going to go. No, he gets away. He gets away from 2 defenders. Not the 3rd and 4th one, though, as he's finally sacked back at the 23-yard line. That was a coverage sack. Yeah. Chambliss will get credit with the sack.
Well, McCray got hit 2 times and was able to escape. I thought his knee went down on that first one, but evidently not. But the pressure from this Wasp defense is outstanding right now. But you're right, that was a coverage. There was no one open.
And it will force the field goal try from Hendren. This would get it to a 15-point game from the 41-yard line. He's already made one from 48. Late substitution for Bridgewater. They might have to call a timeout. 5 on the play clock. Down to 3, down to 2. They get it off. The kick by Hendry. It's got the distance, and the kick on the way is no good. Over to the left. And the Wasps hold, and they'll take over from the 24.
Boy, a big series for the Wasps right there. Holding down and deep in their own territory. The pressure from the front on McCray to give a sack, put them back, probably helped make that field goal bad.
And that late substitution, too.
Yeah.
Hendry had to wait a long time, for that snap.
Well, with 8:51 left, 35-17, I would, in the fourth quarter, I would have to say this is Jordan time.
Absolutely. Wasps will have it at the 24, 8:51 to go, leading by 18. Short in the gun with Jordan to his right. And the aforementioned Jordan gets the handoff, waits for a block. Not a whole lot of running room there. Ball comes out. Ball comes out. Who's got it? Oh, gosh, at the 26.
Wasps.
Boy, that was immediately gives some momentum back to the Eagles. It's recovered by O.P. Peterson.
Well, you got a tired defense that was just out there for a long series by the Eagles, and Jordan does have a tendency to put the ball on the ground. He's fumbled once already today, and he's fumbled a couple other times.
Clock will be on the move, 8:40 and counting, and it's 2nd and 8. And Short with the clock, 2 in front of him at the field house, wisely going to let some clock run off here. 8:28, and they still have 10 on the play clock. Now Short is ready with 3 receivers here on 2nd and 8. They give us to Jordan. Counter tray to the right side, and nice misdirection up to the 31, maybe the 32. That'll give him a gain of about 5. Nice job there to have confidence back in Jordan there after he fumbled the play earlier.
Yeah, I think you just got to get back on that horse and ride, and that's exactly what they did. And, of course, you really want this horse to have the ball.
It makes it a manageable 3rd and 2 now for the Wasps at their own 32. Grady Jordan, where's he at right now?
He just cracked the 200 mark. He's at 36 carries and 206 on the day. He's averaging 5.7 yards a carry.
3rd and 2 for the Wasps at their own 32. They'd love to get a first down and chew up some more clock. Short in the gun, here comes the blitz. They give it to Jordan. He goes around the blitz, gets outside, first down. Devontae Jordan then gets out of bounds nicely at the 41. Gain of 5. And then a flag comes in late. And I mean late, folks.
I think it's more this Rooster fight, but we talked earlier about how they were going to try and seal off the interior of this defense and run around it, and that time they did. Hate to see these flags coming in.
Unsportsmanlike. Wow, another one against Bridgewater. How many is that now for Bridgewater personal fouls? It's got to be 4.
Well, I think it is 4, and it's, Coach Lamb has got to be unhappy about this. This is one of those shoot yourself in the foot. And, Josh, this is on number 41.
That's Tharp.
Tharp. He's, he's one of their leaders out there. He's a senior and been around a while. And you don't expect him to be getting a personal foul after the play late in the game.
And that will chew up some more clock here as it's 7:19 and counting. The Wasps will now have the Bridgewater 44. It'll be Short in the gun with 3 receivers. One back to the right side, that's Jordan. Blitz coming. Here they come. Short keeps it, gets outside, gets to the 45, gets to the 40, outside, Short, close to a first down. He stepped out, I think, at about the 34. He's right at the first down marker. Good job there.
Well, the job was Gunnar Griffith. He pretty much blocked 3 people that time. He was on the wide out, but by the time the ball got there, he took out the linebacker and another interior lineman.
1st and 10 pickup, and the clock starting to move now, under 7 minutes to go. And the Wasps continuing to chew up yardage there on the ground. I think that put them over 300.
Yeah, I think it did, and they're nudging up against 500 yards total offense.
1st and 10 Wasps, the Bridgewater 34. Short in the gun. They give us to Jordan right up the gut. Jordan both hands on the football down to the 30. It'll be a gain of 4. And now, Gary, clock starting to become a factor.
Yeah.
6:20 and counting left.
You have to have 3 possessions. Of course, we know that that's possible because we had 29 put on us in the fourth quarter against Bluefield, but and they scored 21 of those with under 5 minutes.
So the Wasps will let this clock run down, under 6 minutes left. And it will be 2nd down and 6 for the Wasps at the 30.
Wasps could go over 500 yards right here.
Short in the gun with English now in the game to his right. They give us to English. Nope, Short's going to keep it. Late keep. Short stutter steps and then just pushed out of bounds, and he'll lose yardage back to the original line of scrimmage to the 33. Another flag comes in again.
Day. I think I jinxed Short that time by talking about going over 500 because we lost yard. But this is going to be a personal foul on Bridgewater.
Unsportsmanlike again. That's going to be actually offsetting. Boy, this has been, if you tuned in for personal fouls and unsportsmanlike conduct, boy, you found the right place.
Well, that was again against, that was called on their all-conference Tharp, number 41, their linebacker. I'm not sure who was the guilty party in the blue.
Could have been somebody on the sideline, too.
And I can see Newsom is not very happy with, and it may be against Short.
Boy, this game has really come down. It has been penalty happy right now.
Particularly in the second half. We had very few penalties in the first half.
And there would be a lot more logged if they weren't offsetting. I mean, there's been a lot of offsetting.
We had 6 penalties in the first half for a total of 41 yards. We've doubled that easily.
And now we've got a stoppage in play for some reason. It's going to be, should be 3rd down and 10.
Well, the chains, they moved.
3rd and 9 coming up. Now we reset with 5:28, and they should start the clock, and they will. So the Wasps don't have to snap this ball until about 5 minutes and change left. 3rd and 9 coming up.
And if they can get some of this, I think they might go for it on 4th down.
Short in the gun on 3rd and 9. Short, he'll throw. Blitz coming. Short pump fake, going deep right sideline, and he overshoots Griffith. He was double covered out there on the right side.
Yeah, and I think that pass, he was going to Griffith all along, but Jermaine Ford was wide open up on the top side there. So looks like the Wasps are going to punt it.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And the job for Morgan is catch the ball and angle right.
Yeah.
Right around the 10-yard lines where you'd love to see this one.
Well, if it goes in the end zone, that's okay, too. You still give them a long field to navigate, and they don't have a lot of time for long fields.
Eagles only have 10 men on the field, too. Morgan angles it towards the sideline, does his job, and the official now will start marking it. Zyquist Law pointing to the 4-yard line. It says the 6. So Zyquist is really close. Good job by Morgan. Angles it out at the 6.
He's down there doing a little bit of coaching on those officials. Zyquist, I think, maybe want to become an official one day. But it's a great job by Garrett Morgan to pin them inside the 10-yard line, give them that long field. It's under 5 minutes now in the contest. So,
Gary, you think here with it, you're up 18, under 5 to go. You don't want to go prove it, but you think you might want to drop a second safety right here at this go-around?
Well, I think you'll definitely see 2 deep safeties here, and we've got
wall in nicely
back
safety.
there.
So it'll be McCray in the gun on 1st and 10. He'll throw from his end zone. McCray throws to that deep right sideline. It's a jump ball, and it's out of bounds. Looking again for the receiver was Jenkins, well covered by Crimes at the 35.
Yeah, and this is McCray's calling card. I mean, he likes to air it out, but you've got to start picking up some first downs at some point.
4:50 left in this one. 2nd down and 10 for the Eagles at their own 6. Trailing 35-17.
The Eagles have only picked up 4 first downs in this second half.
They'll have trips to the right side. McCray will be in the gun. They'll have one back to his right on 2nd and 10. McCray rolls right. Throws from his end zone, wobbly pass, and it's knocked away by T.J. Payne at the 12-yard line. Intended for Johnson. Nice play by Payne to knock it away.
Boy, that really was a nice job. He came over the top and kept his arm away from him and knocked it away, bringing up another 3rd and long. The Eagles of Bridgewater are 3 of 13 on 3rd downs today. They have not been very effective, but again, too, it's always been the long ones.
McCray, you expect McCray to throw again right here.
They've made 1 3rd down in this second half.
One man in motion is Jones on 3rd and 10. McCray again from his end zone. Hit as he throws, and the ball is up in the air, and it goes out of bounds. He was hit by Ivan Phillips just as he threw that football.
Oh, he was hammered by Ivan Phillips.
And luckily for McCray, that ball goes out of bounds. Otherwise, that would have been like a fair catch.
Yeah, that bring up 4th down now. So another 3rd down conversion that they didn't make makes them 3 of 14 now.
And Graves making sure he can get as far back in the end zone without touching the line. He's at the back of the Emory end zone here. Bridgewater flexes to a gunner, 2 gunners to the right side, 2 linemen standing in the end zone to block Graves on this kick. Snap to Graves is good, gets it away. Short kick, but it'll take a Bridgewater, actually goes the other way, and still goes the other way. And finally, it is Tharp having to come and get it, but not before it's down at the Bridgewater 34. That's a 28-yard punt.
Well, Josh, this Emory and Henry defense, they've held the Bridgewater to 4 first downs and 68 total yards in this second half with 4:29 left. It just, you're a little bit worried. You watch them score 10 unanswered points at the end of the first half, and you think, well, maybe they figured something out. But, boy, this Emory and Henry defense has really put on a show in this second half.
They certainly have, and it's given, like this, a short field for the Wasps from a lot of the game. They've had 2 interceptions with short fields, and now they have it at the Bridgewater 34 with 4:29 to go. They give this to English. He'll go off left tackle, gets inside the 30. And down to the 29-yard line. It'll be a gain of 5, and the clock continuing to move here. It'll be 4:20 and counting just as the play clock starts.
Yeah, in English that time, boy, he hits the hole quick. He hits the hole much quicker than Jordan does. Jordan kind of reads it and tries to let it develop. English just kind of, he breaks it open himself.
As signaled in there by Joe Matthews here, SID 500 yards now on the day for Emory Henry's offense.
Well, we almost were. We were at 498, and I jinxed them by saying that we're going to go over.
Still 8 on the play clock, 3:47 left in this one on 2nd and 5. To give us to English right up the gut, dives forward, second effort. He's very close to the first down. He's got it.
I think he's going to, yep.
To the 24, they're calling for the chains to move. And the Wasps will again get the first down on the ground.
That's 28 yards, 28 first downs in this game, and 17 of them on the ground.
And they will start the clock here, 3:25 and counting left in this one. Emory Henry's at 35-17. Clock very much becoming Emory and Henry's best friend right now. They'll go to the line. They'll take their time with 3 receivers. Short in the gun with English to his left. 3:08 left in this one and still counting. They give us to English. English duds inside the 20, dives for it. Another solid gain on first down, a gain of 6.
Well, and again, the clock keeps moving, and I doubt you'll see Short put the ball in the air. I don't know why you would right now, 2:49 and running. There's just no need for it. Just keep it on the ground, let English pick up this first down for you.
Yeah, still 25 on the play clock. This could be down to about 2:26 before Short has to snap the football, has to get the football. It's 2nd down and 4 from the Bridgewater 18. Short looking right at that clock at the field house here and letting it run down. English to his right. They'll give it to English off left tackle. English covers up, dives forward. He'll get it to about the 16. And the clock now at 2:13 left in this one. Brings up 3rd and 2, Gary. We'll be under 2 minutes here momentarily.
Yeah, I thought, you can't call timeout because if they get you can't waste them right here. But it's got Coach Lim in a predicament over there. The clock keeps rolling. They're keeping it on the ground.
And Gary, maybe one first down, that may be all that we need. As we are down to 147 and counting, still 14 on the play clock. Emory with it 3rd and 2 from the Bridgewater 16. And Short taking off every second he can here. 3 on the play clock, down to 2. And to give us to English, who's hitting the backfield, bounces outside, and he falls down. Boy, it looked like he had some daylight there when he bounced it outside. He'll actually fall down to the 20, but the clock, more importantly, keeps moving at 120 and counting.
Well, that is the 60th running play for the Wasps today versus 23 passes. I mean, RPOs with 60 rushing plays, you usually don't see that.
Not the only team in the ODAC you'll see that with ODAC opponents is W&L. That's about the only team.
Yeah. And then in 2 weeks, we're going to see something similar to that.
So the Wasps letting the clock run down here, and they'll probably call timeout here with about 48 seconds to go. Coach Newsom calls the timeout with 47 seconds to go and one on the play clock.
So they'll reset the play clock at 25. Do you kick the field goal here, Josh, or do you just keep it on the ground? And
I think you run it here. I think you try to run it because a lot of things can happen on a field goal.
I agree.
And if you don't get it, well, you'll be down to 40 seconds, and then you really could play prevent at that point. Up 18 with 40 to go, you'll gladly give them anything over the middle. But I think you play it safe here. You're up 18. You don't want to have anything weird to happen here.
Yeah, I mean, you can have a bad snap. You can have it blocked. There's just all kinds of things.
They're going to kick field goal. That's why you don't listen to me.
That's why we're here,
right,
folks, is to let you know what might happen.
Right. So Jones will attempt a field goal from the left hash. It'll be a 37-yard try from the left hash to try to give Emory Henry a 21-point lead. And Short holding here, any type of bobbled snap, and he's just going to not even run with it. Snap is down. Kick on the way by Jones. It's up. And guess what, folks? It's good. That's why you don't listen to Josh Floyd. You go with Coach Newsom. That's a 37-yard kick, and that extends the lead 38-7 with 42 seconds left.
Well, a 21-point lead now. You've got to have 3 touchdowns in 42 seconds. I don't think that's going to happen. But Josh, Devontae Jordan looks like he's going to end today with 38 carries, 219 yards, and 3 touchdowns. He was number 4 in the nation rushing touchdowns with 7. Now he has 10, and he was number 6 with 472 yards of total rushing yards. And now he's going to be up almost at 700, but probably see his name still again in the national stats.
Oh, absolutely. I would certainly hope so, in that regard. But what a job gave this Emory Henry defense. We say it every week. Since that Bluefield game, it is that's really now looking like it's an anomaly because 7 points against Wesleyan, you gave up 7 to Apprentice, which was a defensive touchdown, and you've held now the Eagles. They're 42 seconds away from holding them scoreless in the whole second half.
Yeah. And scoreless, only 4 first downs and 1 third down conversion.
Jones going to kick it again. Fair catch, signal for at the 25 and taken by the Eagles.
And like I said, 4 first down, 1 third down conversion, and 68 yards of offense right now for the Eagles in the second half. They just, they came out of the locker room saying, this game we're going to put the hammer down.
Well, the Wasps will negate or end this third 3-game losing streak to the Eagles. And the Wasps going to get the 31st meeting in this all-time series against the Eagles. New quarterback into the game for the Eagles gives the handoff to Robinson. And Robinson, as with the runners all day, have had tough sledding. It'll be no gain. Malcolm Anderson is the new quarterback for the Eagles. And at 28 seconds to go, we'll see if the Eagles run any more plays. I think they'll try maybe one more. Maybe. Second and 10.
I don't know. I don't know if they're going to run a play. I think they've.
I think you're right, Gary. They're looking at 10 seconds to go.
Scott Lim, the coach over there, is just looking at the clock, and he's asking his players to go shake a hand, so they're not going to run a play.
Well, Emory and Henry, what a second half, and what a really into the first half with the offense, and then the defense takes over in the second half. The Eagles, no points in the second half, and Bridgewater, Emory and Henry gets the victory. They win it 38-17, now go 3-1 on the year.
Yeah, and what a, this ground game is, Coach Newsom, we said, in my conversation with him, he said, whoever can run the ball will win this football game. And so 38-17, and the Wasps rush for 332 yards while holding Bridgewater to 64 yards. And so guess who won? So Coach Newsom knew when to kick the field goal. He also knows how to call them, it looks like. But a great win for the Wasps here today.
You almost have to go back, I think, to the 2015 or 2016 season to have such a, I would say one-sided event in the second half. Emory won here 31-7. One of Coach Newsom's first years here. Really, since then, it's either been a close game or it's been a rout for Bridgewater. So it's just been this is just a welcome game for today for Emory and Henry, and a great time to go to the bye week now.
You go that bye week and you got 2 weeks and if you lose, you got 2 weeks to have that taste in your mouth. And so you go this bye week, you take on the Macon Yellow Jackets up in Ashland in 2 weeks from now, and you just can't say enough about this defense. I know Devontae Jordan is nationally ranked as a running back, and Kyle Short is making some really good decisions as a quarterback. He was 17 for 23 today, 177 yards. But the defense, to me, is the story. And it was last week, and I think it is this week.
Yeah, and that seems to be a recurring theme for this group. And, again, other than the anomaly that was week 2, I mean, this defense has, you hold – I don't care who you're playing and, transition, Division III, Division II, what have you. You're going to hold your opponent to 17 points. You're going to win 95% of the time.
Well, if you hold them under 200 yards or close to it, they had 234 yards of total offense today. And, that came most of that, 102 of that came on 2 drives, Josh, when they were able to go down and score a touchdown, then come down and kick a field goal. 102 of that 234 came on 2 possessions. So, you're talking about 120, 130 yards the rest of the day.
Yeah, and we talked about time of possession last week, how it was so one-sided for Apprentice. Today, Gary, you look at that time of possession.
Yeah.
I mean, and that tells the story.
It does. It really does. And Bridgewater, only having the ball 24 minutes, 25 seconds, while the Wasps almost 36 minutes of possession. And then you can look right up the stat and see when you only do 3 of 14 third down conversions, you're not going to have the ball very long. And you only make 4 first downs in the second half.
No, you don't. And again, a smart, well-called game by Kyle Short. The Wasps did have 1 fumble on the day. Short had no interceptions, threw the ball when he had to, made receptions when he had to, kept the defense honest, threw for 177 yards. But when you've got the threat of throwing the football, and did it with arguably one of their best players not in the lineup, in Elijah Rice.
Yeah, you got Elijah Rice not in the game. Cozy had a good game, and so did Gunnar Griffith. About tore his jersey off of him, but it's. Kyle Short is just making some. He's not beating you. You can't say that Kyle Short's got the team on his shoulders, and he's winning games single-handedly. But he's not beating you. And,
right.
That's kind of what you want to look for with a young, inexperienced quarterback. You've got enough horses around you to win a football game. You got a defense over there that's going to keep you. Just don't beat us.
Jordan again. I mean, what can you say about that young man? Just a solid effort. Over 200 yards again. 219. He scores 3 times. I mean, he has been, since Overstreet's injury, he has come in and taken that number 1 role and has just made Emory Henry so prolific on that offensive side.
He has, with that 219 today, he's going to be up just about 10 yards short or shy of 700 yards of total rushing on the season in 4 games. That's a lot of ground game. We've gone whole seasons, Josh, and never had that many yards back in the day.
No, absolutely. And you mentioned Kosey, 108 yards. Good to see him break out and have a good game today, in the place of Rice. And Jermon Ford comes out and has a good game as well. So, he
does.
It's this mentality of, next guy up, right now for Emory Henry on offense. And, they're getting it. They're getting it from English. They're getting it from Ford. It's so wonderful to see. But they're guys that are ready, and they go in the game, and you keep going with it.
Yeah, I seem like I say it every year that Coach Newsom's got the most talent that he's had since he's been here. But I truly believe with the backups he's got, the depth he's got, in that secondary, we've got some really outstanding 𝙨𝙬𝙧 Law and Dalton Wilson, and those guys are good. But the guys waiting in the wings aren't bad neither.
Right. You flip back to the rushing attack where how it's so important for both teams, and you look on the other side for Bridgewater. Yeah, they did get north of 50, but just 64 yards rushing. And Giuseppe's, he had 52 yards. Those are exciting 52 yards. But when you're holding his type of running ability to 52 yards, and you're putting the offense on Lawton and then McCray, we hope Lawton's okay after his hit, and that's where you result into a 15 for 37 effort, where only 15 completions the entire day to this Bridgewater team. You get 2 interceptions that really spark it. They did get time to throw the ball, but Ross did a good job of covering it. Coverage was there. There was maybe one or two, delays in coverage, but for the most part, it was there. Yeah,
the coverage is there. 𝙨𝙬𝙖𝙧 in that first interception gave the offense a tremendous field position inside the 20, and then nicely stepping in front of that pass across the middle that Lawton threw. That's 2 in a row for nicely interceptions, two weeks in a row, and couldn't have come at more crucial times, and the Wasps cashed in on them. Mm-hmm. It was not like we got nothing out of that. So, Bridgewater got handled pretty well last week, but I think they got manhandled probably a little worse this week. Coach Lim, I don't know what to say. After you 31-13 to Macon. They wear you down and just kind of take over, and then you come here and you've got nothing in the second half to point to. You scored no points, four first downs, only 60-some yards of offense in the second half. So it's two weeks in a row that the second half they've not come out of the locker room and played well.
Yeah, you look at this game in the third quarter of this season. Coming into this one, opponents had yet to score against Emory Henry. The same is true after today. That third quarter, 0. Yeah. 0 points in the third quarter for opposition against Emory Henry. And we've talked about it year in and year out, Gary, how about that third quarter has been such a bugaboo, but when your defense is pitching a shutout, that's what you need.
This is Tommy Buzzo, the defense coordinator's third bite at the apple, as we said, and he didn't do well the first 2 times. And Josh, I got to tell you, this offense is tough to prepare for because you got to defend the whole field. They're all over the place. They have such a diverse offensive attack. So this is not something that's easy. And Coach Buzzo, I know he's proud of last week's, but this one is even more so. And, I think this is even better defensive effort this week because I think this is a much better team than Apprentice.
Yeah, and you look ahead, Bridgewater stays, of course, in the ODAC. They go to Shenandoah next week. We've talked about the Wasps have a bye. And then in 2 weeks, they will face a very interesting matchup in Ashland against Randolph-Macon, who lost today. They lost to Washington and Lee.
I didn't know if you'd seen that yet or not, but Washington Lee goes to Ashland, comes away with a 25-24 victory for the Generals, which, well, that puts in, this ODAC, you really can't lose but one.
Right.
2 losses and you're out in the ODAC. So now you got W&L 2-1, and you've got Macon, I guess,
It'll be at 3-1.
3-1.
Yeah, understand. Generals scored on the last play, went for 2 and got it at the end of the game. So it has been. So that's a surprise there, in that one. And so you've got Randolph-Macon suffering their first loss, of the season, and then Macon, meanwhile, they will play FAM next Saturday. They'll go on the road to play FAM, and then October 9th, the Wasps will invade Ashland. And of course, you all remember in the spring, the ODAC championship was their heartbreaker for Emory and Henry. And Gary, going into this one, the last 2 times that Emory and Henry has gone to Ashland, they have felt like they should have won that ball game.
Right.
They should have won. They won in 2019. They lost 20-17. And then in the spring championship game, they lost 13-10 in overtime. So it's an area that the Wasps going in knowing we can win, but you're going to have to play spotless football as they've done the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, they've lost 2 games by 6 points up there in the last 2 or 3 years. But it's a hard place to play. It really is a hard place to play. It seems like you get. And I'm not laying anything on the officials, but it seems like you get no breaks, no calls, and they are always fired up in Ashland, and the Wasps just haven't been able to come out with a victory in a while. I think the 20-17 loss kind of turned them around, because then they turned around and won a bunch of games before they fell to Bridgewater here in 2019. But so. Yeah, it's a tough place to play, but now the Macon is they're 1-1 in the ODAC, and W&L's 2-0. And how about Sidney going down to Guilford? I figured that was going to be a blowout for Sidney, but they're down 21-27 in the 4th quarter with 3 minutes left.
Yeah, and FAM hanging on against Prentice, who lost here by 56 last week. So
29-21. Yeah, it's what a crazy ODAC. But in 2 weeks, the good thing about this bye week, you have 2 weeks to prepare for Macon. And Coach Newsom, though, one of the things he'll give these kids a little bit of time off, give them a little bit of a break, and try to make sure that he gives the other players who are not playing the scout squads, give them enough time to get some practice in and improve them, and then they'll hunker down in the very next week, and it'll be all Macon all day long. So you can better believe that the Wasps will be ready for Macon. And how many Pedro Arruza, the coach at Macon, there's nothing he's changed in the 13, 14 years he's been there. They've run that same offense and defense year in, year out.
And he took over that program when they were struggling.
Yeah.
And took that program over. They've been to the ODAC. They've won ODAC championships before. They've gone to the playoffs. They've won in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And certainly they were the odds-on favorite to win this league, and still are until today's setback to Washington and Lee. So that'll be in 2 weeks. We'll have it for you here on 90.7 WEHC with power. And we'll have that game for you. It'll be a 1 o'clock kick from Day Field. It'll be a pregame at 12:30. Hopefully I won't have to do any running for that game. I'll have to get ready for that one.
Or I won't have to be the play-by-play and
we appreciate
color commentator.
Yeah, Gary did it all here for a fair amount of the 3rd quarter. So we thank his efforts for doing so today. So a lot of people we want to thank in the background for this day and all of our days. We want to thank Ivy Shepard, the general manager for WEHC, Bill McKee on the board, David St. Clair for the halftime show, Joe Matthews, SID for Emory, and I also want to thank Lynn Walsh, who's Director of Athletic Media Relations for Bridgewater College, and Scott Lim, the head football coach with Bridgewater College. And I want to thank my pal Gary for serving double duty there for a little bit in this second half. And we want to thank you for taking time out of your Saturday afternoon tuning in to this broadcast of Emory Henry College Football and all of our broadcasts. As we mentioned, with the bye next week, our next broadcast will take place in 2 weeks. We'll be in Ashland for an intriguing matchup featuring a rematch from this past spring's ODAC championship. The Wasps will travel to take on defending champ Randolph-Macon. October 9th kick will be at 1 o'clock. Pre-game show will be at 12:30. Hey, with that bye week, get your yard work done, get your fall prep done, your Halloween decorations set, and get ready to join us in 2 weeks here on 90.7 WEHC. That's the Wasps and the Yellow Jackets, 2 weeks from today, October 9th from Day Field in Ashland. Pre-game at 12:30, kick at 1 o'clock. From Gary Lester, I'm Josh Floyd saying so long from Fred Self Athletic Stadium's nice Warner Field here on the campus of Emory Henry College. The final score from today, it's Emory Henry 38, Bridgewater 17. We'll talk to you in 2 weeks from Ashland. Enjoy the bye week. So long, everybody.
So how were we able to stay on here?
I don't know.